Oh
We
God,
are live.
What?
City of God was released this year. So like half an hour is going to have to be dedicated
Oh boy.
to
I
Colin
know.
going off on it.
I was thinking of that when I was going through, and for some reason,
You know what? He
I
needs to just take the floor,
yes,
Oscar floor, right now. Colin, you have the floor.
he's not even here yet. But
Yeah.
I thought for some reason that it was in one of the other years because he's talked about it so often. I thought it was 2002.
hmm I think it's going to be released in.
How convenient that
Let's
we're
see.
talking about Will Smith and Bad Boys 2 came out this year.
Yeah, Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 2,
Was
that
crazy.
that's Timothy's favorite one. But my favorite is the third one.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought Bad Boys 2 was just a little bit too ridiculously over
It
the
was
top.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, it was funny, it was enjoyable, but I thought that the first one was better than the second one and that the third one was the best out of all of them. So, okay. Well, I don't know when the others will show up, but you want
I put a
to
link in the
take
description.
control, Arturo? And I'm still looking through the.
Hello
Oh,
everyone.
there's Colin. Hold
Oh,
on to me. Oh, okay.
hello.
Whoa.
Hey, Colin.
How's it going?
We were
What
just
just
up?
talking
talking
about you.
about you.
What were you
We
saying?
were talking about how you should have the floor when a specific thing comes up, like in the Oscars. You take the floor.
Yeah,
For the-
because there's a movie that's listed in 2003 that we know
Released in the U.S. in 2003.
you're right. It was released in the U.S. in 2003. So Simon's like, we'll probably have like a 30-minute discussion about City of God.
I know. I'm going to have to. There's not as many movies I want to talk, so I'm going to try to
I was
not go
saying
on.
the same thing, actually.
I snuck peek for next year, and there's a lot next year, though.
I feel like 2004 and 5 and 6 are going to have a lot, like and 7 and 8. I just feel like from 2004 on, like there were several films that I enjoyed in some of the other years we talked about, but I'm not feeling super pumped about this year.
There's not a whole lot for me either. There's a few really good ones, though.
Yeah. So I was going to say we're pretty much discussing now 2003. To be honest, I've actually seen a lot in this year, but as of like recently to prepare for this, there wasn't a lot to watch.
Yeah.
Let's see, the ones that I've watched was Daredevil, Out of Time, and what was the other one?
You saw the extended version of Daredevil.
Okay, that one.
Theatrical.
What was that last one? Oh, Hunted?
Oh yeah, The Hunted. That was not very good. I thought it would be better than it was. It wasn't. There was like no character development. Pretty much, I just could not get into that film. I thought it was very poorly done. I was disappointed too because Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro.
They're good.
I think it'd be really good. Yeah. You know, I mean, they were fine in their acting, but it's just the story. It wasn't put together very well. So that was kind of a disappointment. And I wanted to try to watch another one between yesterday and today, but I was telling Simon I got started on taxes today, so it's been one of those days. Yeah. I've just been too busy with that.
Well, do we want to start off with the box office?
That's what we usually do.
Okay. Well, number 1, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. I think that was the final.
Damn it, I just pulled up the box office, and it's not the right one. That's...
Again?
Office.
Okay, I'm going to give you the link.
Okay.
I'll put it in the private chat. So I usually just go by the Wikipedia, and the list that I usually look at, I think their top, it includes worldwide.
Oh, wait. No, that's not it either. Okay. Oh, that's why?
Yeah.
Are you guys taught, is Arturelia, are you doing the domestic or worldwide there?
Well, the list that we go by is worldwide gross.
Well, it's his highest grossing films that I'm looking at.
Yeah, and then it says worldwide gross. So
there's
there's obviously
a list here.
There's a whole other one that's dedicated to domestic.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm always looking at domestic. I think that's...
Yeah.
Well, that actually is pretty interesting to just see what the domestic version looks like.
And a lot of times it's very similar, but not always.
Okay, I think I got the right one. I just had to type in worldwide. Yeah, okay. Lord of the Rings, number 1. Finding Nemo, number 2.
Yep.
And number
Yeah,
3,
that's the list.
The Matrix Reloaded. Number 4, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Number 5
That
is
was a fun film.
Bruce Almighty. Yeah, Jim Carrey.
Mhm.
Funny.
That was the one I
This-
was gonna suggest you try to watch, but we didn't have time.
The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. Terminator 3. Wait a minute. There's 2
There were
Matrix?
2.
Wait,
Yeah,
2
there were.
Matrix?
Yeah,
They're released 6 months apart.
The
that's
only
what I was.
time
Yeah,
that's
was gonna
happened, I can think of, like 2 huge movies in 1 year, like 2 sequels to a movie. That's a
X-Men
Yeah.
2.
Yep.
And then Bad Boys 2.
lot of 2s and 3s.
Yeah. Terminator 3 was so highly anticipated. Well, at least for me,
You
it
saw
was.
that in movie theaters that
I
year.
did. I went to go see that in movie theaters, and my brother joined me.
Yeah, that was
When-
very anticipated, extremely anticipated, and then
It
I
was.
was just not. I mean, it wasn't bad, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like the next T2 at all.
It
Yeah.
wasn't, because I think I remember thinking that when I was watching, I was like, well, this is, it's okay. It felt like a sort of a rehashing of the same storyline, obviously, but
Mhm.
I just remember thinking, wow, I feel like the magic is gone. I just don't think they can recapture that again.
Yeah,
And I think I went to see it maybe twice in theaters, but like you said, it's not bad, but it's not T2 and it's not the
Mhm.
Terminator.
I don't remember a lot of like T2 felt real like dark, end of the world is coming, and I felt like T3 felt more like just a chase.
I guess the originality of it wasn't
That's
there
probably
anymore.
They didn't
Yeah.
really add more. It just kind of felt like a
Well,
rehash.
Big twist at the end, that they were like they were saying, oh, there's going to be this big twist at the end. I'm like, okay, what's it going to be? And it was just that, well, they didn't really stop Judgment Day. It really happened, but John Connor was saved in this bunker.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I felt so underwhelmed.
I actually really liked the end.
Did you like the end?
I was expecting the typical Hollywood ending,
I mean,
but
Yeah, like the happily ever after type
Yeah.
event. I mean, I didn't. What I mean is that I was expecting something, because you always feel like Judgment Day is looming anyway. So the fact that you find out, well, it's going to happen, it happens, and they can't stop it. They just postponed it. That wasn't really something that just completely wowed me, because I guess
Yeah.
there was sort of always the expectation there.
it is also completely against the message of the second movie. There's no
Right.
favor what we make.
Right. That you can't stop fate.
Yeah.
Basically with T3. Yeah. That's true. But the same formula that they used in T2 happened in T3. He's sent back to protect John, except this time it was Kate that sent him back. And it ends the same way. He sacrifices himself. I mean, the same thing happened in Dark Fate. He sacrificed himself fighting.
That's
You
what I'm
always-
saying.
That's
The
just like the
originality
formula.
is
This
not there.
always happens. Happened in Terminator Genesis.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just stated, the originality was not there.
Yeah, it's gone. So
Mhm.
while I have all of the Terminator movies that came after T1 and T2, except for Dark Fate, because that doesn't exist.
Wait, there was a
Yeah,
Dark
no,
Fate?
I
What
don't.
are you
I don't
talking
even
about?
know why I said that. I just came.
I
out of my
think
mouth.
you're talking about the fanfic.
But
Oh.
they just is good.
Eddie
Yeah.
Furlong is on Cameo.
Where?
It's a site called Cameo, and you just you pay these like sort of B-list stars money, and they send you a little message. So you can maybe like do a little
Oh, it's a website.
watch Sin's Corner. Yeah,
Okay, I've heard of places like that. I think there's a similar one, but I can't remember the name of it. It's called Cameo. That's
Mhm.
funny. Were you just looking this up just now?
I don't know how I came across it, but it just popped into my head. Here you go.
Okay. Well, thank you for the link. I'll check it out. That's funny.
Finding
Is D coming?
I sent
Oh,
him the invitation, and he did confirm that he would be here.
Cool.
So
All right.
maybe he's just running a little late.
You want the D
Come
call?
on, D.
The one that D. Yeah, D's cool.
Come on, D. Hop on. There's so much to discuss here.
Glenn.
5 or 6 is a good number too.
Yeah,
misjoining.
exactly.
But you all have better memories. I watch movies beforehand, and I don't have much to say.
Well, it was always fine
that.
when you were on, Glenn. I think the biggest headache for you was the fact that your internet was always acting up on you. So if you ever want to join another live stream, if you feel like your internet's going to be okay for you, just let me know. I'll invite you to the next
Do it
one.
now, right here.
I like having people here. It's not like we all have to say a whole lot. It's just fun to
Talk about movies.
Listen, yeah, and some movies get brought up that even though I've gone through the list, I didn't notice, and then someone mentions it, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I think Howl's Moving Castle, Studio Ghibli, came out this year, I believe. I think. I could be mistaken. Christian Bale's in that movie.
It's not coming up.
Really? Why did
Yeah.
I think it was? Hold on. I'm looking this up.
That came out in 2004. That's the next year.
Okay. Why did I think it was 2003?
Cool.
Oh, well, I think I'm getting
Good.
confused because it what is that?
It doesn't show up on 2003 at all. I'm looking forward to seeing that actually.
Because
Later
of
this
Christian
year.
Bale, and there is one
It's a
scene
Christian
where
Bale, yes.
well, yeah. There's one scene where he does like that deep voice, like how he would
Like
do
the
in
Batman voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about?
Yeah.
I mean, I always get a Derek and Corey. Corey was here last time. Corey.
Yeah, he was because he came into town.
Yeah, is he gonna be here?
for his birthday.
Well, I wrote him. He actually said they just got home, so he probably won't be able to.
All right, that's all right.
He usually doesn't. He seems to be. I mean, it was just lucky that he was here this past time. So.
Well, I wasn't expecting it.
I know it was a total surprise.
Yes, it was.
It was fun. What the heck?
I guess we've already talked about the Lord of the Rings movies.
We have.
I mean,
Yeah,
Return
but
was
if you
the
wanna-
final. It was the final movie in this trilogy, which I think it ended decently.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there to say?
If you wanted to,
It ended
Talk
like 20
about-
times.
I know.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. Because someone was talking about all those endings to Lord of the Rings.
It was. I don't know if you guys know. It's interesting. The book actually is a little different. It's kind of different because in the book, they defeat Sauron, and then there's like a lot of chapters. I shouldn't say a lot, but it's more than just like 2 chapters, closing action, and the book's over. There's a decent amount of time where it's like the hobbits go back to the Shire, and then the Shire's been kind of taken over by these sleazy hobbits. And now, like, Frodo and the gang are like warrior hobbits, so they like put everything to right, and it kind of shows the change in the hobbits, and I feel like that would have been too much. Which is weird because they kind of like the joke is like Simon said they ended it so many times that it just kept going on and on. But it's kind of weird because in the book, there's actually like almost a whole nother like little story that happens after they defeat Sauron when, like I said, the hobbits go back home. It's kind of cool. So I see why they didn't include it in the movie, but then it's weird that they made it go on and on anyway.
No, yeah. Did those other storylines happen in the book, like what they showed at the end?
I believe, yeah, that was all like them going to the boat and leaving the shot, leaving Middle Earth. That whole thing happened.
I was trying to figure out where were they going.
There's like another continent across the sea where it's like mostly elves live there. Like, no, I don't think any humans live there. You got to get like invited by the elves to go live there. It's a little more magical. But yeah, I love I love the extended editions too. That I can't
I
even
haven't
watch
seen those yet.
extended editions.
Huh.
Like, yeah, I get real into if I'm gonna
Are
watch.
they worth it? I mean, because I felt like the original. You think? Well, I guess I wonder if maybe it's something that the fans appreciate more than Thirsty. You want to add him, Arturo?
Yeah, I got him.
Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm good. Sorry about that. I was having a few connectivity issues, but
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. I'm a tech nerd when it comes to internet speed. What's your speed?
oh, Well, you're gonna have to help me figure out how I can.
Oh, okay. You go to speedtest.net to it'll tell you what your download and your upload speed is. I always ask because obviously when it comes to live streaming, your upload speed is important, but most people have really good download speeds, not upload speed. So yeah.
Buffer bloat can also play into that.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings,
Colin was
yeah.
talking about the extended edition. We just have the standard.
Just the
one.
standard. I decided I wasn't interested in the extended because I like the standard well enough, but I'm not. I think if I was a really big Tolkien fan, I probably would be really pumped about the extended edition. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
not
it's
super
a lot.
interested.
I mean, it's not like 20 minutes. It's like an hour.
An hour, I know.
Yeah.
I was like, they were already long.
Like Justice League, the Snyder cut.
That was
4 hour.
Yeah, that was 4 hours. I loved every minute of it.
I know you did.
Yes.
That movie that version was just so better.
Oh my goodness, so much
It's
better.
not like that. It's not
been
like
a
that.
year. Not like that. Yeah, well, because obviously there was a completely different situation.
Right. Yeah.
For sure. But
I love it. Just more hobbits and stuff. If you like it, then it's just more of what you like.
Disney
what
went a
happened
little-
to Sorry, Arturo.
I was just gonna say, so Disney had a light and a dark films this year. So Finding Nemo would be the more light one, and then Pirates of the Caribbean is the more darker one.
A little darker, yeah.
I wouldn't think of it as dark, but compared to most Disney movies, it's darker.
The surprising part about Pirates is that it got the PG-13 rating, and it's got some, I would say a little bit disturbing stuff, the killing and stuff for a Disney movie.
The skeletons and the
skeleton, but them killing people. That's.
Man, we mentioned the sequels. There's only 3 non-sequels in the top 10, and 2 of them got sequels. So the only movie in the top 10 that never had a sequel or was a sequel is The Last Samurai, which is I feel like we're talking.
It was a sequel.
Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty sequel, Evan Almighty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everything there is a sequel. I just realized.
Well, Bruce Almighty is a prequel.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean.
What was the sequel to? What was Last Samurai connected to?
No, that's the only one.
Okay.
Well, if you count
back in the 90s, it was a lot more this is just a movie, and now it's everything's a part of a franchise.
Yeah, because they're looking for those big blockbustery.
This was the first Pirates movie that came out, and Finding Nemo as well.
That's true. I guess 4, but you're right.
But everything else is sequels and a threequel.
I think what he was meaning to kind of connect was just the fact that it was something that was part of.
But even the originals became franchise, except for The Last Samurai. So it's from I don't know the 90s to this is the decade the corporate franchises really take over the box office.
Yeah, I feel like.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
But then X-Men 2 was also really good. I think I've only seen that movie once.
That was better than the first one.
Yeah.
Oh no, Colin! Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
What?
Don't you shake your head!
I mean, it's not bad. I've watched it a few times. I've seen it more than once. The Nightcrawler scene is amazing.
Yeah.
Opening scene, and it's not bad, but it just growing up with the cartoons, I feel like I just imagine X-Men movies to be better than they ended up. I felt like the worst part about X2 is the villain. The Stryker was just a shitty villain. I felt like I need a good villain for them, and Magneto didn't really do it for me, and that was kind of half on their team, half.
The real villain was Intolerance.
I wanted Sentinels.
Because that's what X-Men was kind of fundamentally about.
Right.
It was, and so I mean, it did stick with that. It was core to a lot of the X-Men ethos or whatever. I just don't know. It's a little.
Hugh Jackman.
I couldn't get into it. I don't know.
Well,
Colin.
not for everybody. I was happy with it. I like the cartoons, but I was happy with the movies.
Honestly, though, having said that, I still think X1 and X2 are probably maybe even a third one in a weird, different way. Like the ones that came after, I started getting worse almost. Although First Class, okay, the first 4
I like
were
First Class.
all
Yeah,
better
yeah,
than
that
the
was
next 4, I guess. They started getting really bad, is what
I
I'm
like
getting.
the
I-
It wasn't that bad.
I like the Wolverine movie, the one that's not Origins, but the one where he's like in Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah, that one. And then I liked, Days of Future Past. Those were like my favorites.
I actually did like Days of Future Past a lot
That
because
was
it's
like
time travel, and I like time travel
Oh
stuff.
no, I
So I
couldn't. No.
Colin, you gotta go in the corner right now.
oh no, don't make him feel bad.
I can't wait for
I'm
the
kidding.
X-Men '97 though. I am excited for that.
Yeah,
I
I am too.
was rewatching some of the old animated series on Disney Plus to kind of like get me hyped up again. Yeah,
Oh, hold on,
I'm still an X-Men fan.
Oh yeah,
I've
that's
got
a
all these-
new. Okay, yeah,
I've got all
remember
these
hearing about that.
X-Men comic books that my uncles have that I just need to go through and read because they look so good. Their art styles are really good.
X-Men
They look
comics.
Yeah, from like the 90s to the 2000s.
And
That's
some
awesome.
of the
Yeah, that was my time.
earlier, the comics that I had given to my brothers, and they destroyed them. I rebought some of the issues. I think they might be up there too.
I'm going through them right now. I'm actually organizing them from the 2000s to the 90s just to keep,
Oh, okay.
the
There's
decades
probably
separate.
some from the 80s in there,
Yeah,
as
there
well.
are. But
maybe 70s.
yeah, I really
Yeah.
want to go through them at some point when I finish organizing.
Yeah,
them.
that was my entertainment when I was a kid. I loved comics. I didn't have a TV, and so I remember one night I was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed. I was a little kid, and then I'm going to wake up at midnight, and then I'm going to read this comic, and then this one, and then this. It was like my TV programming.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Blade 3 came out in, it's 04.
I was
mind.
going to say I didn't think Blade 3 was out this year.
Out of all the Blades, I haven't seen that one yet.
You're not missing much, but
Second one was still my favorite.
yeah, mine too.
Uh,
So we've kind of
Bad,
rushed through
Bad
the
Boys 2.
top.
Bad Boys
Yeah.
2. A very crazy sequel.
My brother gets so tickled about the rat scene.
Oh,
I know I
With
saw
the
that
re-
movie once.
The rats, like Martin Lawrence, right? Yeah. Yeah, Martin Lawrence. And he's like looking, maybe it's like a little attic or something. He's looking up.
yeah.
And
That scene. Oh my gosh. That's
Like,
not how.
such
That is not
terrible
how rats-
animatronics of rats, and they do not look like that.
They do not.
Exactly.
That's funny. That's
And
stupid.
we've had rats. We know.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen them mate, but we've seen the females will hump each other, just like dogs will do with each other. Yeah, they do. And the funniest thing, it's like in fast forward, it looks like it's fast forward. It's the funniest looking thing.
What? Wait, what? When they dominate?
When they try to dominate each other.
Their ears vibrate.
Yeah, their ears vibrate. It's fine. Okay, all right. We're getting off topic. Let's change the subject.
And Bruce Almighty, and it's funny because you watched Liar Liar. with your mom,
Yesterday with my mom.
Oh, we watched it again.
Carrie movie.
Mom had never seen it.
Really?
We're trying to. So on Sundays, that's like a day I spend with my mom. I live right next door to them, but I'm busy all the other days. So I spend the day with them, and we had been watching Bosch on Amazon Prime, and now we're done with that. So we're before the next season comes out on IMDb TV. We're trying to think of some things to watch in between. And so Liar Liar was what we watched yesterday. And I had
trying to get
suggested
her to see the MCU.
she's not going to watch the MCU films. She does not like movies
The
like
best
that.
experience ever. She needs to broaden her horizons a bit more.
But
I mean, she
never
was the one that got you into Terminator.
Yes, she was. She and my dad. But you never saw Bruce Almighty.
No.
And I was going to say that I actually like the sequel to this better than this one.
I know. Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I think I even saw the sequel. I wasn't a big fan of Bruce Almighty. It felt a little bit too safe for a Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
I just remember that scene where, I remember Morgan Freeman. Was it? Yeah, Morgan Freeman. He played God.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yes.
Then there was he gave him the power, and then there was that one scene where what's that guy's name that played in the sequel?
Steve Carell.
Is that? Yeah, he
Yeah,
played
yeah.
like what, a news reporter or something, and Jim
Yeah, he
Carrey did
does
something
something to
where
him.
he was making him do weird things during a broadcast.
Yeah, that was one of the funniest. That was one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
And then I saw something else, like I thought maybe it was like a cut, like it wasn't even added in the theatrical. It's how do you say theatrical release, where he ends up getting caught on fire or something. It was crazy.
Oh yes, so Bubba Hotep.
Oh yeah, Bubba.
This is a good.
Or no, 02. Was it?
It was 03.
Oh, it was this year.
Yeah, Arturo watched it for this year's
I like that movie.
live stream.
Yeah,
I found it both
different movie.
I found it both depressing / hilarious because we're all
because he was like an old
someday, and then you have Elvis, and then you have this other guy that thinks he's John F. Kennedy.
Yeah,
fight a mummy.
The part where Elvis is going down the hill with his walker, and I don't know, it's terrible to laugh at it, but I was laughing at it because he was having trouble going down that hill. Have you seen it, D?
Which one is it? I'm making sure.
Bubba Hotep.
I feel like I remember that, but it's obviously been a while. Like the name rings a bell, but I clearly need to go back and watch it.
Oh,
Bruce Campbell's awesome.
It's funny. I've seen it, I think maybe 3 times now, and I had known about it for years, but I actually stayed away because it was Bruce Campbell, because he doesn't really do much at all for me.
Really, the director?
I know. I heard someone gasp.
Wait, the director? Or
no, the actor, the guy who plays Elvis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says a lot of people really love him, and it's funny, but he just doesn't. I don't know. But I watched.
You need to watch Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah, is that the show, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the Evil
Dead. You have to admit, he was pretty good as Elvis in this movie, especially when he was going down the hill. That was funny.
But also, like the hero walk. Is there fake going off the face? Yeah. And he, and like the John F. Kennedy guy, he's in his little wheelchair, his mechanized wheelchair. And Bubba Hotep, Elvis, he's in his walker. It's just funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was
like
fun.
These old people trying to fight a mummy.
Yeah. Well, we can't give too many spoilers in case D hasn't really seen it.
Yeah.
Don't want to say too much.
Then the old guy, the other old guy with the toy guns, thinks he's
yeah, he thought he was the Lone Ranger. Yeah, that was a fun movie.
Final Destiny 2 came out this year. Oh, Final Destination. Sorry.
Final Destination. I never saw that, but I knew that's turned into a big. That's like, are those movies still going on?
No, they ended with 5.
They're done. Oh, okay.
I think they're doing a
new one. I'm surprised they haven't brought it back yet.
You think they're doing a new one?
It's like they reboot everything, so it's hard to think that they won't try to do it again.
Right.
Even if they don't need to.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be a reboot. Stop it. There was the Jackie Chan movie.
Shanghai Nights, right?
But isn't that like a sequel?
Yeah, I feel like it was good, but for some reason it didn't have that amazingness that I loved about I don't know why. It was still good, but it didn't live up to Shanghai Noon for me.
Yeah.
I heard that.
I don't even, I don't even remember the concept. I don't remember the story at all.
It was funny and cool action, but I think Noon was just better. I don't know why.
Yeah, Final Destination 6 is coming to HBO Max, directed by John Watts of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay, are you going to add him, Arturo, or should I?
There we go.
Hi.
This is my brother. I don't know if D has met. Yeah, you have.
Yeah. We met before.
You guys were on the horror discussion.
Oh,
anyway, we were talking about 2003 films. and we've gone through the top 10, and we're just talking about different films.
I was
now.
actually about ready to talk about Daredevil.
The extended version.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
You liked it when you went to go see it at first in the theaters.
It was it's one of those movies where you're watching the theater and you're like, oh, this is cool. And then all of a sudden, the longer you think about it, you're like, man, that was really kind of terrible. I don't know if that ever happens to anybody else, but sometimes.
I mean,
No, it does.
I recently watched it for the first time. I actually thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah,
for
I
the
don't
time.
hate it. I don't think it's awful.
I
want you to
mentioned this-
rewatch the Elektra, him fighting her on the playground. On the
I know.
Watch
that
That
again.
part
Yeah.
is cheesy. I
That
know.
was a little, yeah, that
it's
was a bit
cheesy, but I
But-
still didn't hate it, and I do like the extended version.
You know what? I
makes it
mentioned
a
this
little
to Sin, but they use those songs in the funeral scenes.
Yeah, the
And I'm
Evanescence.
thinking to myself, I wish they would use music like that in like the newer Marvel movies. They just have a bigger impact on the whole scene.
Is this Amara?
Yes, it is.
Hello, Amara.
For some
Hola.
reason, she's put on her swim her swim gear.
I was wondering. She looked like she was
If
like.
she's wearing a swim. I don't know why she put it on. It's raining out here. They do weird things.
Yes, they do. Your children.
And by the way, hello, Simon.
hey,
I think he's on here. Yeah,
Hey, yeah. Don't know your name.
yeah. Turd
This is,
Ferguson.
this is my brother. Kurt Ferguson.
But yeah, what I
Call
Hey,
Mr.
was
good
saying,
to
Ferguson
see you
if you
again,
don't
my
mind.
friend. I really liked your review of the outfit. That was pretty cool. Looking forward to seeing that.
D's.
Yeah, the outfit. Is that what it was? The outfit?
Oh, me?
Yeah. I saw your review. I
Oh,
liked it.
thank you. I appreciate it.
I've been
Yeah,
meaning
I
to
was the
go
one
watch-
talking
so
about
good.
I was somebody commenting on your video about Graham Moore because I'd read his books.
Oh, okay. So that was you.
That was
Wait.
me.
Wait,
Oh, cool.
okay, so that's the author.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I saw his name
hmm
and I thought that he was somebody older, but then I was like, there's this other guy that's written these books that I've listened to, and I was like, this name, but for some reason I did not make the connection that was him. No wonder the movie was so good.
Yeah. The Holdout was a pretty good book, and also I really liked the Sherlockian. I remember I read that maybe like 8 years ago or something like that on a trip to Costa Rica or somewhere wherever we went. It was a good book.
Yeah, The Outfit's a really good film. If you guys, well, you'll probably check it out at some point, Tim.
Yeah.
Colin and Simon, it's really well done.
Ryan Reynolds movie?
No, it's I don't remember the main actor.
Oh,
The
Mark
guy.
Riley.
Yeah,
Really?
him.
I don't think I know about this one.
Ready
It's
Player One.
it takes place in just like this tailor shop. The whole story. I think it'd be a perfect play
Oh,
because it's just one location, but it's so well done, and it does get kind of tenseful at times.
Oh, what I wanted
I like
to
to
say about Daredevil is the guy in there, his friend. It's kind of funny
Jon
how it. Yeah, he would be in there.
Oh yeah,
and
he was
then later-
foggy.
Yeah,
Yep.
he would end up like years later directing the first MCU movie. The start.
Yeah.
of
Oh, it
it.
was what's his face played him. I
John
forgot.
Favreau.
Yeah, John Favreau.
Yeah. He was his friend, the funny
Oh,
sidekick type friend.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
Foggy in the Netflix version.
Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, I remember now who plays him. Blonde guy.
Can't remember his
I
name.
remember him. You know, I never finished the Daredevil series because stinking Disney
Oh.
took it out of Netflix. You know
Yeah.
what really aggravated me about that was because those shows were Netflix originals. So I just kind of had the idea that they were always going to be on Netflix.
Yeah.
And so they would always be safe. They would be there.
Yeah.
And then they go. Because I was taking my time with them. Oh, I was so mad.
But isn't the Daredevil still there on Netflix?
No, they took all of those
No,
off.
it's on Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
Disney.
Oh,
They
for some
took-
It's
reason
like
I
on
thought
a
it was-
section where it's supposed to be a little more mature, just how Disney is. And it's kind of funny because Disney usually doesn't go with those type of.
Yeah, it's some pretty
shows.
intense material.
Yeah.
So that's obviously going to be sectioned away from the regular stuff.
I mean, watching the Ben Affleck Daredevil makes me want to watch it, but Now it's on Disney.
Maybe we can find the DVDs. They did have some DVDs on sale on Amazon, but I don't know how long that will last.
Oh, I want to talk about Out of Time with Denzel Washington. That,
Yes.
to be honest, for some reason I found that movie funny, just because
Yeah, He's
the whole
laughing.
situation.
He's laughing at poor Denzel he's in so much trouble in this movie. And I remember the first time I saw it.
He had it coming. And,
Well, not.
I mean, sort of.
He did something he shouldn't have done, but I remember being extremely stressed for him. But Arturo, he's chuckling the whole time, like Denzel's messing with the phone records and deleting the numbers and doing this and that. And he's like just the nick of time sort of thing, saving himself.
That was the one where he was like the Miami cop, right?
Yeah.
It was like some small town in Florida.
Miami or somewhere, right?
Maybe in the Keys. I don't remember. It was
I like that movie. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that was good.
Man on Fire was probably one of my favorite Denzel.
And that's the next year.
And Deja Vu, probably my favorite.
Yeah,
that's my favorite Denzel film.
The Tony Scott ones.
Yes, Tony Scott.
That's right.
He was in Unstoppable. Not the one about the train.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Chris Pine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't he the guy in the control area?
He was, in the same control room with the
and
other
Chris
guy.
Pine was on the train? Because, it's been a long time since I saw that movie.
Since 2010.
Yeah. It's been a long
Christmas
time.
Day.
That's right.
I remember that.
Christmas Day. That's right. Yep.
I was stressed out with that balcony fight.
You were say what now?
I was stressed out with that balcony fight in Out of Time.
Right.
I was like, holy cow.
I kept thinking, because, I'd forgotten most of everything about the movie. I just remember he was in trouble. He'd done some shady stuff, but he wasn't bad, but he was in trouble. And I didn't remember how it ended. I didn't remember, and that balcony scene, you're right. That's extremely tenseful. I was thinking, why does he just jump to another balcony? He's right there.
That's what I was thinking at first. I'm like, well, yeah, you could, but then I put my perspective in his viewpoint. Well, you kind of don't want to risk it because you're in a place where you could fall, and if you jump, who's to say? If you put yourself in that position, you could probably feel how it is if you try to jump and then might miss. So no, I could kind of understand.
Yeah, well, I guess I was expecting him to do the typical, what happens in movies. I was expecting it to go that way, and it didn't. But yeah, it was really good, and it's so funny because Eva Mendes was in there with him again.
Yeah. She was with him in Training Day.
Yeah, and I think for a while I used to mix those two movies up because I would see images from them, and I thought they were the same movie because she would be involved, and I didn't realize they were two separate stories.
Right.
But yeah, that was a really good film. I actually really liked that movie.
Then I was going to ask you, do you remember Mark Rylance from Ready Player One?
No, I saw that he was in there, but I forgot completely who he was. I've only seen that movie once. Who was he?
The guy who created the game, the one who appeared at the very end. Yeah,
Wizard.
That's who he was.
Oh, okay. Well,
did you watch Don't Look Up?
No, I haven't seen that. Is he in there too?
Oh yeah, he's
okay.
Memorably annoying.
Oh, is he?
Steve Jobs type kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't seen that, but I guess this was the first movie that I actually paid attention to him. And I'm sure I've probably seen him I saw him in Ready Player One. Just his face didn't stick with me. But he was so good in the outfit. He was such a sweet little, a doll. The looks on his face and the way he would hold his body, like his body language. He was really good in there. I was so impressed. Oh yeah, we're jumping way ahead of 2003.
2017.
I saw the
now.
No, it's like 2022.
No, we're talking about Ready Player One. I was like, we jumped to 2017 or 18, and then on forward.
Let's not time travel too far just yet.
What's that, D?
You guys already talked about Terminator 3?
Yeah, it's horrible.
No.
Really?
Oh.
We did talk about it. We talked about the anticipation
ring,
for
folks.
it. Do you want to say something about it, D? We were talking about how there was a huge anticipation for it, but it just the magic didn't feel like the magic was there like it had been for the other two films.
Yeah, see, I want to know your thoughts because I know Terminator is your franchise. So, like,
Yes.
what like generally, like, how did you feel? And I'm wondering, like, does it work as a movie outside of 1 and 2, or because 1 and 2 kind of set the precedent, does that make it worse?
Well, like Colin and I were saying, it was a decent enough movie, decent action movie, kind of like Dark Fate was a decent action movie,
Right.
but Dark Fate was like the worst Terminator movie ever. It was just so bad to me.
Is it worse
But
than Genesis?
I like Genesis more than Dark Fate. I think what aggravated me about Dark Fate was the potential, and they just threw it all down the toilet. That's how I felt. I felt insulted as a fan, and I was pissed when the movie was over. I was so mad. I was a little kind in my review, but it's like the more it goes on, the more angry I get about it.
What
But
are you
Terminator
talking
3,
about?
oh yeah, I know it doesn't exist. That doesn't exist.
I never heard of a Dark Fate. What are you talking about?
There was a lot of anticipation for Terminator 3. And I remember being really, really excited about it. And there had been talk for years that there was going to be a female Terminator. And of course they picked one. There had been different, like China, the female wrestler, she was supposed to maybe be a Terminator. I can't remember if Corey Everson's name was thrown around, like big tough women, and then they choose, who they chose, and it doesn't matter because she doesn't have to look like a big huge muscle person, but she I don't know, she did all right. The movie was okay. It was enjoyable enough. I was really excited to see it, but I think after I thought about it more, the less I liked it. I don't hate it, but it's hard to match the first two. I just don't think it can be done.
I mentioned also that the originality wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of
formula.
using the same sort of material again.
Yeah, I happened to be lucky enough to get a one of those, a black curtain screening of it before it was released. Because
you did? I totally forgot you
did. Yeah. I was.
Did you even tell me that?
Yeah, I told you, and I told you it was a horrible movie.
I don't remember you telling me it was a horrible movie.
Yeah, because everybody
was
so excited when we got into the theater. And
then
the movie starts going, and then as it's going on, I'm just like, it's one of those movies where as it's going on, it's like sighing here and there, like. And the only thing that I really, really liked about it was, to be honest, was the end. That was the only thing that really was good, because it really wrapped out how he survived, and it's like, oh, okay, I can get on board with this. That's the reason he survived. I think the other thing that I liked about it was, I don't know, maybe that was only an hour and 45 minutes long. I'm just kidding.
Was it really that? Yeah.
No, I don't remember. I got out of there sooner than later. But then when they made the TV show, the Sarah Connor Chronicles,
that was so good.
I liked more how the rationale in which he survived that rather than the other way around. But
yeah, that show was actually surprisingly good. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I didn't think Lena Headey would be able to pull it off, if that's even how you say her name. I always say Headey, but I don't know if it's Headey, whatever.
She seems like a pretty good actress.
I call her Cersei all the time.
Well, she wasn't Cersei all the time. She was other people first. But that was a really good show. I remember being like excited for every episode, and I started off thinking I wouldn't enjoy it, and then it completely won me over, and I was so bummed when the second season ended. I mean, they canceled it at after the second season.
Yeah, and I remember they had the writer's strike and all that stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The Room. Yes.
Oh gosh.
I did not hear her.
I refuse to watch that movie.
I do want to watch The Disaster Artist.
Oh, I love The Disaster Artist. That was
actually. Oh, hi, Mark.
I heard it's really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I've never seen
tearing me apart, Lisa.
I've just seen clips.
Yeah, I think
and that's bad enough.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be torture to watch 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think you need to be drunk to watch that movie.
The movie should really be called Cringe, the movie, because it's really bad. The portions I've seen.
Agree with this statement?
I was actually going to address it, and I was going to say that yes, I do agree with that statement. It didn't obliterate the Terminator franchise for me. Crystal Skull was just
It wasn't great.
it's so cringy bad. It was just, and that's another wasted potential. You know, they brought back the Marion from the first movie. It was like what? And then it's like aliens and
It really lost me. It lost me when Shia was swinging on the vine. I was just like, whoa! They went there, and then what happened was I kept going. This is the guy that directed Saving Private Ryan, and then it was like, this is the guy that directed Jaws. This is the guy. I mean, that was like I was going through his whole filmography, going. This is that guy. I can't believe this. It's blowing my mind. It's bad.
I mean, he's had
cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Cons, you know.
What was that, Simon?
What's that, Simon?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yes, it is.
But didn't he already have like pros and cons even before that?
I mean, he's had some misses, but he's generally been a pretty solid storyteller. Is he directing this next one? He is, isn't he?
No, he's not. No,
he's not.
No, and to be honest, I'm not looking forward to it. I heard they're doing time travel now, which is even more ridiculous.
Well, I like time travel, but I'm not excited about it because.
But Indiana Jones has nothing.
Are they actually bringing Harrison Ford back? Because that's
yeah,
they're going to resurrect him from his tomb.
He looked too old in Crystal Skull.
He hurt himself. He hurt himself during the filming of this, and they had to postpone production for a while.
How about they just
like he hurt himself on the Star Wars movie a few years ago?
How about they just stop bringing franchises that are so well done and just wreck it later? Yes.
Is it what's the title? Is it Indiana Jones in the Age of Geriatrics? I'm not sure.
I don't remember if they probably have said.
No, I don't even care. Kathleen Kennedy is working on it. Why?
Yeah, she's involved in it. So for some reason, like her hands on projects now just aren't as like it's so much worse than because she used to be involved in a lot of projects back then that were really good.
Everything.
But now, like every time she touches something, it just stinks. And
puts it in the blender and destroys it.
And that girl that they hired to, like the girl that's joining the cast, and she's like, is she one of the writers or something? And some stuff. I was like, no, I don't have good feelings about the new movie.
But man, we jumped like a few years into the
I know we did.
Now.
Here we go. We're doing time travel again.
Time travel. I was gonna say the Animatrix came out.
I never saw that.
Original.
The Animatrix.
Yeah,
I enjoy that one.
Yeah,
I heard
some of those sequels really.
We didn't talk about the Matrix, either Matrix movie.
Both of them.
No, we haven't.
Was Animatrix also 03?
Yeah,
I believe so.
That was like the year for Matrix.
Animatrix was really good. I think Animatrix is better than the third movie.
It is.
Yeah.
It's what is it? It's different stories.
It's like 10 short stories.
Yeah.
Some are more interesting than others, but they're all pretty good.
How long are they?
It's like a 90-minute movie, so like
so they're real stories. Okay.
Yeah.
It's really good. I don't know if we're gonna
talk
about the Matrix much, or if anyone wants to. I'll talk about the Matrix.
You have the floor, Colin.
or City of God, or the Matrix. I didn't get a chance to watch that scene, Colin.
Oh well,
but I will try to check it out.
What I'm talking about, but you guys have seen the Matrix Reloaded? Everyone?
Is the multiple agents?
No, that scene actually was bad.
The freeway
at the time. No, the freeway, and when it starts with Neo fighting with weapons, and then it turns into the freeway stage. I don't think that's ever been topped. I'm
gonna mute you, Tim.
As good as it gets for me, for my interest. And I watched it just the other day when I looked to find it, and I was just like, still to this day, it's as good as it gets. It's so good. There's really good martial arts and weapon fighting. There's car chase. There's just really badass imagery and slow motion. It's like a pumping soundtrack and intense story, and oh man, I saw it in the theater like 3 times. I just kept going back.
Wow.
And
this is the second one?
Good, but yeah, the second one. And it's kind of like I can't separate that scene from the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie has some other good action, although like the multiple agents scene, even then it looks bad because there's a lot of CG. Neo
Very
piano CG looked bad, even then. And but there's other good action and the story. I mean, it's just riding the first movie's coattails in terms of story. It doesn't really.
Yeah.
But the first one was like as good as it gets for story. So
The second one just had a weird structure. It was very start-stop. There was like an action scene and then long exposition scene, and then an action scene, long exposition.
It was weird. I kind of like the weirdness, and it's all about the action and the coolness and the vibe. Although there are some, a few bad scenes. And then, so I ranked that really highly. And then the third movie, I think the third movie sucked. Like,
yeah, I remember a lot of people were not happy at all. Not happy at all about that.
Like they took all the good stuff from the Matrix away.
Yeah.
I didn't. They made the Matrix and the Matrix and the Matrix, and it was just it kept going.
Yeah. It got real CGI heavy. Like all the fighting in the underground was just like boring to me. It was all CG. I don't know.
Colin, did you know that they built that that highway?
Oh yeah, I knew back then. Yeah, I mean, I was.
My favorite part of that is when Trinity rides backwards on the highway
into traffic.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, it's so good, so good.
On a Ducati 996.
In the what?
What's that?
On a Ducati 996.
Yes,
I'm a Ducati fan.
She was on Ducati.
Nice. I don't know the names. That's,
Oh, was that a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's
okay.
so cool. Like the agents are like popping into cars because they can just, an agent can take over any body. So it'll just like you'll see a human driving, and then the next shot, an agent's in the body shooting at him. So it's so intense. And I always forget in the back of my mind when I'm watching those Matrix movies. I always think it's cool. Like usually the heroes of the movies are the heroes kind of to everyone in the real world or whatever in the movie world. But in the Matrix, like, how do I say it? In the version of the Matrix, Neo and all them are terrorists. So all that's, they're like in the Matrix, all the cops and all the people that live there, they see Morpheus and Neo and Trinity as terrorists. So they're like, God, the cops got to get these crazy people blowing stuff up on the streets. But we're like, no, they're trying to save you. I think it's kind of cool how they're not like, it's you don't really think about it. It's in the back of your head, though, that like, they're not, no one sees them as heroes but us, the audience. In their world, in the Matrix, they're these crazy terrorists.
Right.
Cool to me,
which is understandable from their perspective, right?
Right, yeah.
Right.
And that was when they introduced like the Merovingian and also the twins, right?
Yeah.
That
stuff was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that part of the story was what made that one have a little bit more substance to it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just kind of the third movie came out and it was like, yeah, don't worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
like they literally they brushed all of that under the carpet except for the architect. That was it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like the third one was just one big long dissertation, and even the final scene with Neo and Agent Smith, it just went on and on and on and on.
Yes.
I was just like, okay,
waiting for it to end. It wasn't exciting. Yeah.
At all.
I think it's really evident that they did not really plan to make sequels, and The Matrix blew up, and the studio was like, make sequels, and they're like, all right, and they went all in on the action of the second one. They really upped it, and it was awesome for some of that, but they didn't have the story, and they couldn't fill 4 hours. Yeah.
It felt like the Wachowski brothers were interested in the philosophy of everything, and the studio wanted all the action scenes.
Yes,
because bullet time was like huge back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was a big deal when the first movie came out and how people were just going crazy about it. Speaking of the Matrix, Tim, mom says she wants to see the Matrix. And you know why she wants to see this? The only reason why she wants to see it, because she keeps hearing talk about the red pill and the blue pill. To the Matrix. I'm like, Mom, it's not about politics and stuff. It's you won't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind watching it with you, but
I think she would like. I would actually think she would enjoy Equilibrium more. Actually, like
maybe I love Equilibrium. I like Equilibrium better than the Matrix. I like Matrix okay, but I was never super in love with it.
Yeah, like it's kind of like Lord of the Rings. I like it. I'm just not overly into it, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel about it.
I wonder if that political symbolism was intended
Is intended
with the pills.
I don't feel like for the
pills.
movie, I don't feel like it was.
I
didn't get the sense it was political in nature. I feel like over the years, the politics went and grabbed those references and used them. I just didn't get the sense that was something that came from the movies themselves, as far as politics.
There's another Marvel movie that actually came out this year. Hulk.
X-Men. What about X-Men 2? Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah, a little bit.
We talked about that one.
Yeah, the first scene of that, I remember watching that in the theater as well. That was right after basic training. The Nightcrawler scene in the White House, I was
so good.
I was so happy with that. I remember I went to the theater, and we didn't really have a lot of like time off in the military. It was the basic training all the time, but I went out the one weekend and I saw it, and I was like, "Whoa, that was pretty awesome." The next week, I went out and watched it again, just for that one scene.
It was really
so
well
good.
done.
Yeah,
and that stuff. When you see that stuff, it's almost like, did the people making this not see how cool that was? Because I feel like the rest of the movie didn't come close to.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they use them again? Or like, if they can do that for 5 minutes, can't they do it again for 5 minutes? At some point in the movie, like. I don't know. I always wonder. It's like when albums come out and they're like this one hit song and then like 9 other songs. Like, just make an album with 10 hit songs. You can make one. Wait till you get 10. I don't know.
But has anybody here seen the Hulk?
Ang Lee version.
The one
started off good.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Oh. Started off good, and it was just like, oh my gosh, at the end.
Hey,
what
saw
the heck?
Black curtain screening for that one too.
Oh, you lucky thing.
Yeah.
You haven't had good luck with those black curtain screenings.
No, after I had seen I think the second one might have been I can't remember which one was first, but I think it was the Terminator one that came out second. I didn't see another one there. I was like, I'm good. Yeah, but the Hulk movie, I really liked it up until pretty much he changes, and that was cool the first time, and then it was like the introduction of these dogs, and I kept going like, what is happening? Oh. And I know Aang was really, really trying to do some comic book-esque stuff with his camera stuff, but it was more distracting than it was kind of immersing you. It pulled me out every time the camera was moving, but the one thing I was happy with was the cast picks they picked for the younger General Ross, which is Sam Elliott, and the younger goodness gracious, what's his dad's name? Forgetting his dad's name. They both were really, really good, like facial representations of their younger selves.
Was Nick Nolte?
Nick Nolte. Yeah, the young Nick Nolte and then the young Sam Elliott. They were really, really well cast. They looked like they could have been their younger selves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was good up until like when the final battle happened. I was just like, I had mentally checked out. I liked it up until, but then that happened and it just kind of ruined the whole movie for me.
It's a good thing I didn't bother to watch it.
So you liked him jumping through the desert and hitting the tanks?
That didn't bother me too much.
Okay.
Because I remember because that actually was kind of the way I remember the Hulk being when I read the comics. He would jump great distances and do stuff like that. And so that didn't bother me, but it was the thing that happened with the electricity and his father's spirit in the electricity. I was like, what? This is only so much I can take with some of these.
The only Hulk movie that I saw was the one for the MCU
with Edward Norton. I like that movie.
No, that was okay.
Yeah.
I keep picturing Sam Elliott.
Came out this year.
Sam Elliott.
No, commentating on the recent thing about Power of the Dog. Did you just hear about that?
I did hear about that.
I can just imagine these Chinese people coming over here. Think they know anything about our comic book movies?
Oh, anyway, he talks. He's got a very distinctive voice for sure.
Well, he doesn't move his mouth very much when he talks. It's always real total. It's like borderline like Sling Blade. I'm gonna talk about Kyler Blade and Sling Blade. I mean, and that's how he talks. If you watch 1883, you see it all the time. He's talking about, well, this is what happens when you're out here on the range. People die, people live.
Javier, I don't want to hear it about you being old. Please, I got these young things around me complaining about how old they are. It's like,
I'm
please.
old.
No, you're not.
My ribs are already hurting.
So Lord. Okay, so I'd like to talk about Underworld.
Oh,
I'll talk about that.
I love that movie. And
That one, yeah.
I remember seeing
like
the
it.
commercials for it, and one thing I remember from the commercials was her shooting through the floor. Obviously, it can never happen, but her shooting through the floor, and I was like, wow, that's an interesting imagery, and she was all cool looking with her outfit and everything. I really wish I had gone to see that movie in theaters. I did not go to see it on the
Why
big screen.
didn't you?
I just, for whatever reason, I just didn't feel drawn enough to go see it on the big screen. But I wasn't really going to see movies a lot back then. I went to go see Terminator 3.
Yeah, I was Terminator 3.
But yeah, I didn't go see X-Men 2 on the big screen. So I was like, man, I really wish, because I love Underworld. That's one of my top 10 movies.
One of my favorite
All-time
vampire movies.
Yeah. I
Or
did a
werewolf
video about
movies.
my top 10 movies, and Underworld's in my top 10. Most
you
of the top 10 are like action-packed comic book superhero movies.
Would you say
It was a total
it's
ripoff from World of Darkness, the role-playing games.
Yeah, I think I heard about that. But I
There's
don't know.
Vampire the Masquerade, there's Werewolf the Apocalypse,
I've
also
heard about
interlinking role-playing games.
I've heard about Vampire the Masquerade. That's like that's a game. Yeah, I remember that's been advertised a lot on GOG.
What is this, like a vampire werewolf movie or a vampire movie?
Wait, Arturo's never. I feel like it seems like
You've seen Underworld. Yeah, he had. What are you talking about, Arturo?
Like, what would you call it? Is it like just a vampire movie or a werewolf movie?
No, it's both.
Both.
A little bit of both.
You're disappointing me, Arturo.
He's seen it. I don't know why I guess you can't. It's not one or the other. It's both.
I always kind of, for some reason, when I think about it, I'm all like vampires, even though I know.
I think vampires first too, but I guess it's both. I haven't seen all of them.
I don't know. There's something about, and that first one, of course, is the best one.
Yeah,
I like the coloring. Like that blue over, and just the way they made her look. She is just so cool, and she's absolutely gorgeous. But for some reason, maybe she's completely stuck up in real life. But for some reason, even though she's playing this badass, cool character in her slinky outfit and her cool leather coat, she never came across to me as somebody that was like, I liked her. I still liked her. Mm-hmm. Sometimes some characters that are like that, I'm like, oh, I don't like you. You like yourself too much. I don't like you. But she never came across that way. And the way they did her eyes when she would change and how she's handled the guns and the slow motion. And I was like, this is so cool. I want to be her.
Total badass.
You said about the main character in X, though, didn't you?
What's that?
So you said the same thing about the main character in X, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually, did not like her character.
Yeah, it was the same thing. You were like, just the kind of the way she carried herself. You're a little too
weird. Yeah, but like, maybe that's just the way her character was written. Maybe it's just the actor's acting. I don't know, but I was just like, yeah, I don't like you, but I have a feeling you're going to be the final girl. Dang. Right. But yeah, that's a whole movie right there. Let me tell you.
And I do like the whole aspect of like just this. The title already says it. Underworld, pretty much. Humanity lives on while they're having their own little battles.
How do the other two compare to the first? Or it might be more than that. But
I saw only the second one, and I can say, the first one's still better.
There's 4? There's 3, at least 3.
There's 5.
I think there's 5. I think there's 5.
There's 5 total.
Oh.
And they got worse. Like the second one is not as good as the first, but it's tolerable. But it's just, I felt like it was really a little over the top. Yeah. The third one was a prequel.
Right.
So I appreciated it from that aspect, but it still wasn't all that. And then 4 and 5 were just like, oh, Kate, you should just stop putting on the black spandex. It's not working anymore. I mean, she wore it fine, but the story was not working anymore. Is basically what the problem. It wasn't so much her; it's just the material was just. Ugh.
The thing I appreciated about the second one was like the lore. I like the fact that both the werewolves and the vampires were all descendants of 2 brothers, where there was one that had been bitten by a werewolf and the other had been bitten by a bat, and they kind of like separated that way. So I appreciated the lore factor more on the second one, but there was just not that. It couldn't recapture the magic of the first one.
which
Yeah.
always-
It's kind of like
Yeah.
what I said about Terminator 3. No more original materials. It's the same thing over and over.
Yeah. You kind of feel it's like it would be cool if they could have incorporated that lore stuff a little bit more into the first one.
Mhm.
But yeah, that you're right. I did appreciate the backstory that she finds out as the movie goes on, but it was just no, it didn't work as well.
What
Unfortunate.
about Gothica?
That's the one with Uma
Halle
Thurman.
Berry? Halle Berry.
No.
I thought. Halle
Oh
Berry,
no, I'm
right?
thinking Gattaca. Yeah,
Oh,
that's the one with Robert Downey Jr. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gattaca. It's totally different. I don't remember if I've ever seen that, D, and if I have, I completely forgot about it.
really?
See that one?
I'm forgetting it as well, but I remember at the time that I did like it. I just can't remember the whole premise of the story anymore.
Doesn't she think they think she's crazy? Or...
She thinks she's crazy, but she's not.
Yeah. It's
And
like
Robert
she-
Downey's
Oh, go
he's the
ahead.
baddie. He's the bad guy, right, or something?
Oh, not in this one. It's
Oh,
just that.
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like she's a doctor at a mental facility or insane asylum, which is
Mhm.
not the correct term, but she works at this facility, and so she ends up getting in this car accident, and this woman is on the road, and she goes to help her, and then all of a sudden the woman grabs her, she blacks out, and then she wakes up and she's in
The
facility,
institution.
the patient.
Uh-huh.
And then they tell her that she did something when she blacked out, and that's why she's in the facility. But she keeps seeing the same girl who caused that to happen, and it's her slowly piecing together why she's in the facility, who the girl is, and it becomes
Oh, okay, so
done it kind of situation.
so it's like a mystery type story
Yeah.
then. Okay,
I think
I'll
that's
have
all
to,
about it.
I'm gonna try to watch that again because, yeah, if I saw it, it didn't make an impression enough on me that it stuck with me. But probably if I rewatched it, like with Out of Time, rewatching Out of Time, I appreciate that movie even more than I did, I think, the first time.
Yeah,
Queen Flux wasn't 03, was it really?
I thought it was cool.
Was
Oh,
it?
That was. I feel like I would have seen that. I looked at the list. I must have overlooked that one.
If it was, maybe it was
2005.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe the next year, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
There was also the movie the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, that movie was so bad, Connery quit movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell the story about. Maybe they already all know it, but maybe they don't. Tim, the story about why he ended up like all the roles he turned down.
Oh, so yeah, he basically had gotten the, hey, we want you to be in this movie, and you're gonna be a wizard. And he's reading through the script, and he's like, oh, I don't understand what the hell's going on, And it's Lord of the Rings, so he passes it up.
Mhm.
And then they give him another script, and they're wanting him to be the architect in the Matrix, and he's like, I read the script, I don't know what the hell's going on, and he passes it up. And so then they give him this script, and it's about superheroes and stuff, and he's like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I can't pass up these roles, So he takes the movie, and it's like worst dog shit ever.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just brutal.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like the beginning of the movie where that tank just breaks into the British bank and the soldiers are in there.
Frankenstein?
He said the tank. I
No,
don't
that
remember
thing.
that scene.
That
The bank when the tank rolled into the bank in Britain. And
I
I
don't
mean,
remember.
it's not a good film, but I don't hate it. Like, let's say I hate Moonfall.
Oh. If Matt Air
I
was
would
here,
rewatch
you know what
Good
he
Lord.
would say.
I did hear
Moonfall forever.
something interesting about Sean Connery. Apparently, like in his contracts, and I don't know why it is, but it was some article I read or I was listening to something on YouTube. But apparently, in his contracts, it stated that every subsequent movie that he would have to be in, there would have to be a larger explosion than the previous one, and it was like absolutely bonkers. But
Is
that
it
was
for
in
real?
Yeah, that was supposed to be
Yeah, I
in
was
his
wondering.
in his contracts. The next movie he's in has to have a bigger explosion no matter what. And so in order for him to do the movie, they would have to sign on. All right, I guess we're going to blow up this and it's going to be bigger. It's just super awkward and weird.
That sounds like one of
Okay.
those urban legend things.
The urban legend. I'll have to find it and send it to you. It was weird.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
do that. I would like to. I do remember you telling me about that, but I don't. That just seems so insane.
Yeah, it's super terrible. Is Colin still there? I figure he talked about Kill Bill at some point.
Oh, he probably would. He may have gone out to smoke or
I was
something.
gonna
He'll
say
be back.
something else that came out this year that's pretty crazy. Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, jeez.
Which
Yeah.
I never saw that, and I never planned to see that. It just looks so bad. But we did talk about Bad Boys 2, Tim.
Oh yeah,
that's
a fantastic Michael Bay
Yeah,
movie. I really like that movie. It really is. My favorite scene on that. Well, not only that, the cinematography.
Your favorite
in
scene
general.
is the rat scene. I know. I told them.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
This Papa rat is straight pound. This mama rat. They have sex like we do. No,
No, they totally don't.
The cinematography for that movie was really, really good. Inside the Haitian shootout.
When the camera went around in circles. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That was really, really fun to watch. And then, of course, the chase scene on the freeway with the cars falling. He's like, they throwing cars at me, and it goes over them. And Martin Lawrence is dying, like screaming. And then just that one line from Will Smith, he's like, "Woo! That made my butthole pucker."
Yes. I remember the trailers for that, and I remember them showing the scene of the car flying overhead.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was really crazy.
Yes.
But I haven't watched that movie until I think I watched it with Arturo, because we were going to prepare for Bad Boys 3, which in my opinion is the best of all three of them. I was
going to say, you and I was like, why do I feel like you and I just talked about it? Because we did. I made that.
Yeah, we
Twitter.
did.
Yeah.
We did. It's like we there's like all these different platforms where we communicate. Like we got Instagram, we got email, we got YouTube, and we got Twitter. And sometimes I forget we talked about something over here because I'm not seeing it over here.
Man, it's been like 2 years since the third Bad Boys came out.
Yeah, that was one of the last films we went to see.
No,
I feel like it was not aptly named though, because
Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, because it's got the 4 in there, and it makes you seem like that should be the name of the 4th movie, and it throws me off.
Right, Bad Boys for Life. I get it. Yeah. I didn't even think about that too much, but yeah, it was cool to see Kate Del Castillo in there because I recognize her. She's a Mexican actor. Yeah. She played in La Reina del Sur. So she played obviously a similar type, she was not bad in La Reina del Sur, but so it was kind of cool to see her in there.
Was she the witch or the agent?
She was the mother of his son, the bad drug lady.
Yeah, they kept. No, I called her a witch because it's like they kept alluding to her being like a witch or something like that.
Probably they called her what, a bruja or something.
Yeah, bruja.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that might be like her, her street name.
Right.
How they do it, the drug people. They have street names. So
they do that with the drug people? The drug people.
Like with drug people. So remember in Bosch, the last season of Bosch, what was the name of that drug lady? Oh my gosh.
Hey Colin, we're just talking about you. What's your street name?
Yeah, what's your drug people street name? Is it El Puerco?
I'm talking about, the cartels. They have names. They give them these nicknames. What was the name of that dang lady in Bosch?
El Fumar.
My Fortnite nickname, which I'm really proud of, coming up with my own handles, is Hyper Slacker.
Hi, okay.
Hyper Slacker?
That defines me.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a good oxymoron.
That's funny.
Jeepers Creepers 2 came out this year.
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw that when I was going through.
I know it's a kids movie, but it's actually a really, really good movie. But Holes.
Yeah, someone mentioned Holes in the comments.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that's a good movie. It's really wholesome.
Pretty good.
You get wholesome. It's kind of wholesome.
Oh, wholesome.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie though. I like that one.
Yeah, it was decent. Mm-hmm.
I've only saw bits and pieces of that.
In answer to this question, I did see Darkness Falls. I remember that it was about the Tooth Fairy, a horror movie, but I don't remember anything beyond that.
I remember thinking when people told me that was a joke, I was like, it's not about the Tooth Fairy. No, it's about the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, it's about the Tooth Fairy.
And another good fun movie was The Rundown. And that's a Peter Berg movie. And Peter Berg, he does good movies no matter, not no matter what, but often, like The Kingdom's a really, really good movie. But
was the rundown with The Rock?
Is The Rock and Sean William Scott, and then also of course, oh my goodness gracious, I'm drawing a blank.
Who else was in?
Oh my God! From the original movie Dead Zone. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Oh, Christopher Walken.
Yeah. He was really, really funny. He's really funny in that movie.
I just remember.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was trying to figure out why. I know this isn't the same film, but I was like, it makes me think of The Rock in some movie where he had an afro and he was wearing a powder blue suit and he like spanked his behind. I was like, what is that?
That's that's the sequel to that other movie, Get Shorty. It's
Shorty, yeah, Be Cool.
Be Cool, yeah.
It's like what? I never saw that.
Yeah, he was funny in that movie too.
Yeah, that one was like star-studded. But we got 2 more years to
go. The scene in the rundown where he needed to pee and he was handcuffed, Sean William Scott, and he wanted The Rock to help him go pee, and he's like, "I'll unzip your pants." He's like, "Well, can't you get it out?" And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna get it out." And here he is, like, the guy's back turned. He's like trying to get himself to get his junk out to pee. Dude, I was dying watching that part. That part was so funny.
I just remember he would do this, like Sean William Scott. I always have trouble remembering his name. I keep wanting to say Sean Patrick, whatever. Sean William Scott. He did this thing where, like, with his leg, like a little bit of thunder and a little bit of wind or something like that. It was like so corny, ridiculous. But speaking of him, there was a movie that he was in a few years ago. I did a reaction to the trailer. And what intrigued me about that film is he plays a serial killer. He reminds me of Dexter. And like that sort of, like, he's this family man, but he's a serial killer. And he's not like bad. Okay, he's a serial killer, but you know what I mean. So I watched that movie, and it wasn't too awful. It had a small cast, so it wasn't really, and it didn't really feel like there was like a lot of, I don't know, but it wasn't awful. I did a review of that, and I couldn't tell you now what the name of it was, but that's when I think of him now. I think of that serial killer movie instead of the other silly stuff he's been in, because he played a serious character in there. But
interesting. I'm about to check that out. And what did you say it was called?
I don't remember. I'll look it up.
Then there was a Pancho Villa movie.
Was that the one with Antonio Banderas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He was
I never finished it. I saw like maybe half of that movie.
I love real life Robin Hood characters.
Yeah.
I remember finding out about him. This guy was crazy.
Oh, it's an HBO. HBO.
No, he's different than Zapata. Zapata's someone else, but
yeah, I know, but I get them mixed up because I thought they were around the same time.
They probably
Mexican history, because I thought they even met each other. Those two. Okay, I think the name of the movie is called Bloodline.
Okay, Bloodline.
You may feel completely different. I mean, I wasn't blown away by it, but I thought it was okay. I certainly didn't regret watching it.
What is the film you were blown away by? Out of curiosity.
A film? Or what do you mean? Well, Terminator 2.
What about
in my top 10? I'm trying to think of a film.
Top 10.
Yeah, Underworld's in my top 10. I'm trying to think of a film recently that I've seen that I've been okay. Well, I loved No Way Home. I thought that was really, really good. That was just the nostalgia and the just excitement and the big, huge grin. And I went on YouTube and was watching reaction videos to it, like the theater reactions, and just listen to the people scream. It was exciting.
People scream for Daredevil.
Yeah, when Daredevil showed up. Yeah. I'm not always blown away by films.
Yeah, that's the only reason I asked, because I know that's kind of the go-to thing. Like, it wasn't spectacular, but I was wondering, like, if I'm assuming there have been some, but I was curious.
Oh yeah, there have been, like The Dark Knight. I absolutely love The Dark Knight. So I compared The Batman to The Dark Knight, and while I like The Batman, it didn't blow me away.
Right.
There were some parts about it that I really did enjoy, though. I like the Batmobile. That was cool.
Oh yeah.
And the cinematography. You've seen it? Have you? You've seen the Batman?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I couldn't remember if we talked about that because we talked about so many
Right.
different films.
Exactly. So, what about Bad Santa?
I haven't seen that
You haven't seen Bad Santa?
because
been a
it's a
while.
comedy, and I don't gravitate towards comedies usually.
Right.
I was thinking that was a horror movie.
And what's his name? No, what's his name?
Billy
Joe Bob.
Bob.
What, Joe Bob.
Billy Bob.
I think Joe Bob because I watched Joe Bob Briggs on Shudder, so I said Joe Bob. Yeah, he doesn't really like do much for me as an actor, so I just kind of like.
Oh, I'm the
So-
same way, but this was kind of for me. It was kind of like you can. It's the same thing how you and I feel about John Cena and how
Yeah.
we felt about his character in the Suicide Squad, but then Peacemaker the series was just like wow, like in spite of that,
Right.
I was like appreciate it. So for me, Billy Bob is the same thing, and then with Bad Santa, it was kind of like I really enjoyed him in that.
I heard it's really good though, but I have.
Yeah,
I
It's
had
kind of a cult. Got a little cult classic following. A bit.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's like really good, but it's pretty. I haven't seen it for a long time. I was gonna mention too what Joe said. Old School was. That's a pretty good one. Not Dumb and Dumber level good, but
Oh, so that's an.
Dumb and Dumber came out this year, son of. I know you saw that,
Yeah.
right? You saw that, right?
that hurt.
Hold on a second. Let me think. Wait a
That would
second.
hurt.
That's the one with the
Even
other two. The other
big
two. It
fan.
wasn't original. No, I don't think.
Yeah,
I
it was
saw
like
that.
the Kirkland brand version.
Notice I didn't say I didn't watch it because I would never willingly watch it. It would be something that my husband watches instead. I don't think he saw that one, but he saw the other sequel that came out with
Which also
original-
sucked.
it wasn't that
Heard.
great. But then I think the first one sucks too. So.
Get out of here, you ignorant swine.
Uh-oh.
So someone said to me, I did a reaction to a Norm Macdonald. It was like a compilation video, and so it had some scenes from his podcast. And the actor who was in Dumb and Dumber, who was standing outside the telephone booth, yelling at the mobster guy, and then the mobster guy punches him out.
Yeah.
So that actor was on that Norm Macdonald show, and I made a comment in the video. Is that actor from Dumb and Dumber? And so someone made a comment like, "I can't believe you remembered that was so and so." I'm like, "Well, it's only because I've been exposed to this movie 1,000
Heard of it?
times."
Hello, get off the phone.
Oh yeah, dude! I know now. I remember. Yeah, I watched that podcast.
My husband laughs at that scene. He thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm like, this movie is so dumb.
It's kind of the same with Liar Liar. I would get exposed to Dumb and Dumber,
bits of-
Liar Liar, or The Mask. Anything with Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Wasn't Bruce Almighty this year too?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did talk about that
Okay.
a little bit. I'm not super crazy about Bruce Almighty.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Okay,
I love
that's
that
the one with
movie.
Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and it's based off the El Mariachi.
Right.
Antonio Banderas. I think Antonio Banderas is in that too. And
He
is that-
is.
is that-
It is, right?
Yeah,
It's still the
so
main.
have you guys seen the original Mariachi, the first one that got it started?
One time, yeah.
It was
Desperado.
like a low budget, but not too bad. I didn't think it was. I think it's all in Spanish as well.
Yeah.
It is.
Huh.
It is.
The second one, then he got big budget,
budget,
and he
yeah.
was Antonio Banderas, Salma Hayek, and big explosions and all
Right.
that. And then the third one.
Oh,
was
okay.
Once
So
Upon a Time.
Desperado was the second.
Yeah.
Technically,
that
the
was the
second, yes. Mhm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Because for the first
Oh,
one,
that's right.
um,
Enrique Iglesias was also in Once Upon a Time.
he was in
Yeah.
this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. In the first Mariachi, Robert Rodriguez had a real. I remember the
Like
story because I think it's
20,000. He sold
It
his
was
blood.
very it was a clinical trial he was
Something,
in.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
Oh,
Trial.
that's the one.
had money to make El Mariachi, and I think he had like family
like
and friends help him and stuff.
$15,000
So
or
that's
$20,000 or something. And it looks like a made-for-TV movie from Mexico.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad,
just-
but that's what you would think if you just saw it playing. You
Yeah.
would think it was
yeah,
just-
it's not high budget, but the storyline wasn't too bad. And I remember watching it and enjoying the fact that I could understand a lot of the Spanish. So I thought that was cool, and I never forgot it because of that. And then the other two movies came out. I didn't think Once Upon a Time in Mexico was bad, but then I've only seen it once, so I don't remember a whole lot about
It has like I thought I remember it had like a lot of actors. I know Johnny Young. Johnny
Johnny Young
Depp.
Bosch.
Yeah, it was. And didn't it have I keep forgetting his name, but he's kind of like that rough, tough guy. Looks,
I
he looks mean.
Yeah, Jesse the Body Ventura is not in the movie, Arturo.
No, I'm thinking Danny Trejo. Is he in that?
Danny Trejo.
Was he in the third one?
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah,
I just remembered.
Yeah, Danny Trejo.
It was
in the third one because I thought he died in the first one. I mean, in Desperado.
I thought
they brought him back. He's in like every Rodriguez movie. He was the raincoat trainer.
It's funny because he has a restaurant out here, and it's Trejo's Tacos.
Oh,
and
nice.
then he's also go to this local restaurant called Carrillos, which is a little taqueria, like sit down restaurant, right? And his poster's on the wall, and it's in Pacoima, which is where he was born and raised. And one day he came in there because I was really good friends with the owner. He came in and his photo was down, like it had fallen over, and he got so mad that his photo wasn't up. Like a joke mad, he wasn't mad. And no, he got joke mad, and he walked behind the counter and he grabbed his photo and he put it back up and he goes, "Don't ever let my photo be down in here, man." and he put it back up. But yeah, him and both George Lopez go there still to this day quite frequently, and they even have one of the burritos that George Lopez orders. It's called the George Lopez, so it's named after him.
Because LA, right?
It's in Santa Clarita, but it's very close. But they lived in like Pacoima area and Sylmar area, very close to Richie Valens' high school. So they might have even gone to the same high school.
Oh, interesting.
My wife's mom went to that one. She went to the same high school. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's interesting. Danny Trejo has an interesting story, and I've always, for whatever reason, I've always liked him, even though he always plays, or almost always used to play, like awful people in movies. And I think one of the first movies I saw him in,
Cadros, right?
Yes, he loves perros. He does.
Are you getting ready to talk about him and Roberts? Is that what you're going to mention?
I was going to talk about Blood In, Blood Out, because that was one of the first.
Julia Roberts' brother. He was Eric Roberts was in Blood. No. He was in I'm sorry. He was in the. Oh my goodness! It's other like martial arts movie.
Pratt was in Blood In, Blood Out, and Damien Chapa.
No. I was meaning Eric Roberts. He was in a kung fu movie or fighting movie. What was that movie?
I don't know because he's been in so many different films. A lot of them low budget.
He was in X-Files.
I'll have to look it up.
Anyway, his name in there, his real name was Geronimo.
That's it.
What's it called?
Best of the Best.
Best of the Best. Oh,
thank you, Simon. Yeah,
he's like this little trivia guy doing all this research in the background. When we can't think of something, he provides us.
That's why he's always.
He met him in prison. He was serving some time or something, and they became really good friends.
In the movie or in real life?
In real life.
Wait, Eric Roberts?
Yeah, Eric Roberts and Danny Trejo. They had like a little stint in jail or something like that together.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Okay, I knew that Danny Trejo was in jail. He served in San Quentin, and then when they filmed Blood In, Blood Out, they filmed it in San Quentin. And I always thought, wow, that must be so weird for him to go back there and film in the same place that he had served for a time. Anyway,
it's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, it is crazy. I don't know if he is gone or if he's just. Oh, he's got himself muted, so maybe he had to do something.
There was a Jack Black movie, School of Rock. I kind of remember seeing trailers for that.
It's pretty good. I love Jack Black, and I think that's a pretty good movie.
Haven't seen it though.
It's a good movie.
Is it? Mm-hmm. It's like a feel good sort of, right? Like
Jack Black is actually responsible for one of my favorite musicals anyway, and that's Tenacious D.
Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny. Such a good.
It's my favorite musical of all time. I mean, Sound of Music doesn't have anything on that movie.
Oh,
at
please,
all.
Really?
Yes. Colin, do you agree?
Best musical? What doesn't have?
Sound of Music.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
Singing in the Rain,
Oranges, but no,
the Rocky Horror Picture Show for me.
is
Okay, I can somewhat get on board with that, but Tenacious D edges out the victory for best musical.
I didn't realize
ever.
that was a musical. What year did that come out?
06. I saw it in the theaters in Austin. I remember.
It's an
It's
actual
really good.
musical. See, that's probably why I never watched it. Plus, the title just sounds really crazy. So I'm like,
It's
Sounds
got
like
some,
a
it's
sounds
got
like
some
a
of
gay movie.
the best. It's got some of the best like cameo roles in movies. Like Tim Robbins was phenomenal. Ben Stiller was hilarious, and David Grohl, of course. Like they all had really, really good cameos in there. And
It's
Ben
really
Stiller.
funny.
Ben Stiller is one of those guys where like I don't really like his movies, but when he plays that small tidbit role in a movie, he does it so well that it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
He did the same thing like in Anchorman. I think even like Vince Vaughn and Tim Robbins were in one of Anchorman 2 or something. But
I think Ben Stiller did pretty good in Meet the Parents.
I said generally,
Yeah.
I'm not like a fan of like his actual movies where he's the main guy the whole time. Maybe The Heartbreak Kid's another one that I think is really funny just because of the circumstances. That one's funny.
See that one. A lot of these are comedies films. So
Yeah.
I believe School of Rock was 2003. I did not realize it was that long ago. Holy cow! I thought it was late 2000s. Yeah, that's insane. Pick of Destiny was that from 2003?
No, it's the Tenacious D.
I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
I should get you lit one time, and we should watch that together. Cinema.
Get me lit.
Yeah. Should get you a little bit of alcohol in you, and we'll sit.
I was gonna say because I'm like, no, I'm not gonna be smoking the pot. No, I won't be doing that.
No. We'll get you
I will remain the pot version of the family. Thank you very much.
We'll get you to have a shot, and then we'll put it on.
And there's one of my favorite laughs is in that movie. I remember I was watching it by myself in the theater, and I started cracking up when he takes mushrooms, and he's like, "We're going down the magical ride," and then it cuts to him in a raging river, just being washed down the river.
This is Tenacious D. What's the premise of the movie?
Okay, so the premise is that these two losers that are like, he's basically a guitarist, and he runs away from home when he's like 10. Meatloaf is
Missouri.
Kickapoo, Missouri. His dad is Meatloaf.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'll post a video in Discord.
Okay. So he runs away from home to go to Los Angeles, and he's going to form this band, and he meets his band partner, which is in real life Kyle Gass. Yes, and so they start a band together, and they learn about this pick. And this pick of destiny happened to be from the
a guitar pick.
Yeah, but it was forged from the tooth of the devil, and basically, as history went through, this pick was handed down from person to person, and every person they hit, it's like a musical genius, had the pick. So you pretty much had Eddie Van Halen had to pick at one point in time, and it was passed along. So they're trying to find it, and they find out that it's in like the Rock and Roll Museum, and they're going to break in and they're going to steal it. Yep. So they could get it and become the best band ever, and that's the premise of the story.
Okay.
So you're going to watch it.
I don't know about that. Maybe when you're in town. Because I don't know when I'm going out there.
Yeah, it's an epic quest. I'll get you to have a shot, and then another shot, and then one more, and then you'll be good to go.
I don't throw them back. I sip very slowly. I take like an hour to drink a shot.
We'll do some speed sipping.
Oh Lord.
I like Tenacious D so much because it's like, I feel like that's what Jack Black thinks is funny. Like, I feel like that's his favorite movie of all his movies. Like, and I feel like I feel like all the Jack Black movies are kind of muted versions. Like Tenacious D is, you're seeing the goods. Like, so yeah, that's like why he's so good. I think is when he's really good, he's really good. But I feel like we've talked a lot about a 2006 movie.
Right. Well, we sort of we do this. We did the tangent because we were talking about School of Rock. So I mean, it makes sense. Okay, so have any of you guys seen Stuck on You?
Oh my god, is that Matt Damon one?
Matt Damon and I think Greg Kinnear. I saw that once.
Farrelly Brothers.
Yeah.
Is that who? I remember I watched it at Deanna's house, and so I have fond memories of it. Deanna and Buddy, and It was funny. There were some funny parts. I think Cher was in there too.
That's
right?
why I remember it. It's 'cause of Cher.
Yeah. She was like messing with the young guy or something like that. It was a little bit disturbing. But I remember enjoying it at the time, but I don't know if I'd feel the same way if I rewatched it. I do have it. I actually have it on DVD, but I haven't seen it since the first time. It was kind of funny.
You know, I think didn't the Farrelly brothers also do Dumb and Dumber?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so why don't you
Really?
like it?
But for some reason, I
Why
like
don't you
this
like it,
one
Sam?
better than Dumb and Dumber. Because in Dumb and Dumber, the characters are too dumb for me to like them. It was so dumb. It was
But they're so
dumb.
likable. They're not
No,
trying to hurt anybody. They're trying to be happy.
but they were too dumb for me to appreciate them.
Yeah.
So I was just
Sorry,
like,
but they were too dumb for me to enjoy it.
they were just too dumb.
Oh my god.
But anyway,
Oh,
okay. Well,
no,
I didn't realize that was one
spammer.
of their movies. Is a spammer? Oh Lord!
Yeah, again, he has
You can
crept
never
back.
have a live stream without a spammer showing up.
What's the spammer doing? What's he saying?
He just sends crap.
Sex
Sex stuff, that sort of thing.
The bots are out.
Yeah.
Oh, Tears of the Sun. Yes, that's a really, really good movie.
Oh yeah, I thought I saw that once.
That's good.
That's Madeline Stowe, right?
I
And
don't remember the girl. Just Bruce Willis was in there as well as Cole Hauser. It's one of Mary's favorite movies.
oh wait, it's not Hold on, it's not Madeline Stowe. It's Monica Bellucci.
That's the one. Yes.
I forgot that was her in there. Why do I always think it was Madeline Stowe?
See, that's what threw me off because I was like, I don't remember that name.
Yeah, that was okay. And Tom Skerritt. I don't even remember what it was about.
Oh, I forgot. It was Tom Skerritt in that?
Yep, it had, yeah.
I
Showed his
forgot.
name in here.
I forgot.
So we haven't yet talked about Kill Bill Volume 1.
Oh, well,
you walked out of the room and I was like, is Colin going to mention that? Because I'd like to talk about that. I'd like to talk about him.
It's like probably my favorite of the year, probably. So it's
Yeah.
I think it have to be. I mean, it's probably my favorite Tarantino movie. He's like one of my favorite directors. I mean, it's
Really? That's your favorite Tarantino movie?
if I had to pick, yes, it's close, but
Okay.
yes, yeah, I love Kill Bill. It's just I love it.
I will say the whole fighting at the end where she slices all those guys up,
Crazy
and then when
idiot.
they start crawling away, bleeding, I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's
It's made it realistic that they didn't just all die. It kind of reminded me how Braveheart was. You know, when there was this large battle, not everyone's just dead. There's actually some people that are barely hanging on. You know, and that kind of brought the realism to it.
Yeah.
But how did you feel regarding this Kill Bill Volume 2, though?
I don't know. It's hard to say because I feel like you have to look at them as the one movie.
It's one film. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But personally, and it's like the first one's a little bit faster, but the second one's got a lot more like scenes that are kind of slower.
yeah. I
But
would agree.
still, I enjoy a lot. But it's hard to compare. I mean, it's like when she meets Bill in his house and they talk and shit. It's really good, but it's hard to compare that to like fighting Crazy 88.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe I like the first one a touch more, just because there's more action and fast paced. But I think
It's more action.
It almost felt a
Just
little
as good.
anticlimactic. The final. Artur hasn't seen the second volume yet, but the
Yes,
final.
I have. Yes, I have.
Have you? I'm getting mixed
One
up
of
with
my
what you have.
friends lended me a copy, and I watched it. Don't you
I kind of
remember?
like it.
Oh,
The
I
ending,
forgot.
how
Ah,
Oh, maybe it's Corey that hasn't seen the
Corey
second.
hasn't seen it.
Okay.
I kind of
Alright.
like that it's not a big action scene. It's kind of a quiet, intimate moment. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it, but I was really absorbed.
I can say he still carries that flow into his movie. Like you get entranced in the scene.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see if Max von Sydow was in that. I don't remember.
Is it Sydow or Sindow? I don't know. I always think it's Sindow.
I don't think
Oh,
there's an in it.
I'm probably wrong.
I think it's Sido or something.
I
There's no-
don't
Sydow.
see his name. Sydow? See, I always say Sydow.
I don't remember a really old dude. Wait, was he the old? No, that was like a Spanish.
Wait, are you talking about the villain?
I don't remember him in that
No,
movie.
the villain was Carradine, David Carradine. That was Bill.
I gotta say, he had a pretty would you say kind of a unique voice
David
Yeah,
Carradine?
how he
in
talked.
the
Yeah,
movie? Yeah, Bill.
yeah. I think a little bit. Yeah, just kind of
Kind of like a villainous voice.
yeah.
I feel like I just feel like he talks the way he always talks.
Kill him, William Bly.
William.
So, fun fact about the final fight, it initially was going to be this massive moonlight beach battle, potentially with the bride in her wedding dress. But thanks to Harvey Weinstein, he didn't want to pay for that, so he insisted they cut it. So that's because of
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I just remember, Arturo, didn't you say that there was some music? What was the music that you said?
Oh yeah, the music that we.
From
I forgot what the song is,
Bad,
but it's been used, in The Good, the Bad, the Weird.
right.
It plays in Volume 1 of Kill Bill. It plays near the final fight.
That's the song from Good, the Bad, and the Weird. What about the other one? That dun dun dun. Is that in the first one or the second one?
Wait,
when the people are walking down the hallway and it's playing that cool song.
Oh yeah. No, the boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's the first. That's the first.
That was from the first
Okay,
one.
the first one. All right.
That scene blew up.
I like that song.
So good. Yeah.
I think it's Battle for Humanity.
Is that what it's called? There's also a really good score in there that I thought was originally in The Good, the Bad, the Weird, but Arturo said it showed up in Kill Bill 1, and I completely forgot for whatever reason.
Instantly, I think of Kill Bill, like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Blew that song up. Like, yeah.
It had
Battle for Humanity without honor.
It had even an anime. Like there was one portion of the movie that was pretty much just animated.
Mm-hmm.
It had to do with
the backstory of the girl killer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I just love it. I love Tarantino. It's all over the place.
What was it? The Lucy Liu one? The backstory for her?
Yeah,
the Japanese girl.
Yeah.
I heard he was into anime, so I think that's probably why they put that in there.
I remember the dude where he kicks the cigarette, like little moments like that, where his accuracy is so good. He kicks the cigarette and it starts the fire. Yeah, it's cool.
The desert chase scene is the one that has the song from The Good, the Bad, the Weird that I like that showed up in Kill Bill 2, but I don't remember what scene did it show up in, Arturo.
The final battle in Volume 1.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I told you it was in something else too. I just don't remember what.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, they use that song for pretty much a lot of movies.
I only associate it with The Good, the Bad, the Weird.
Yeah, that's like I think that's the Good, the Bad, the Weird version.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I love that. I love that song.
We'll definitely be talking about that in 2008.
Yes, we will.
Is that anyone else's favorite Tarantino movie?
Kill Bill? I don't think it's my favorite Tarantino.
I'm gonna go with Django is probably one of my favorites that he's done.
Yeah, I like Django.
I think
that was surprisingly hilarious.
Once Upon a Time, I think would be my favorite.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like most of his movies.
Yeah.
It was Sid Haig. I was thinking he was the bartender in Kill Bill Volume 2. Oh, he gets Sid Haig and Max von Sydow. Okay, all right.
House of the Dead came out this year.
Oh, that was terrible. That was an Uwe Boll movie based on a Sega game.
Yeah.
I saw it in the. Yeah, I haven't watched it.
It was not good.
Before video games became like the films, before the films got good.
Yeah.
Did anybody watch Master and Commander? Because I remember that was a big deal Russell Crowe movie. And then I felt like that it was kind of considered a disappointment by a lot of people, but I never saw it. But then I've heard it's not bad.
I saw it once. It was one of those movies. I think because in my mind it came so. I know it was 3 years, but it came so close off the heels of Gladiator. It was like that was the kind of movie I was wanting to see. This is.
And it wasn't
this epic movie that just had so much depth to it, and I was kind of, I don't know, it was subpar in my mind, but it was It was okay for a once off.
Okay.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, the 2003 version. Is that the one with Jessica Biel in it?
Yep.
Okay, I think I've seen that in passing.
I remember
okay-ish.
I remember seeing the ending of that one time when I was young, and I remember the one like near the end, the girl gets in one of these cars, and there's like a baby inside of it, and at the very end they kind of do like this reenactment to make it look like it's real, and I just remember that bothered me because it looked real.
Wait,
like
they did a reenactment? What?
It like to make it look like it was real footage.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Where in the world did you see that?
Oh man, I don't even remember.
Did you guys watch Arnold's speech to the Ukraine, to Russia?
Yeah, a few days ago, right?
Yeah.
He had a little blue and white coffee mug, and I'm like, that's like my little blue and white coffee mug. Now I'm really happy. I'm like, yeah, my Arnold mug.
Was it the weightlifter that gave you that too? Did you meet him?
Not quite.
What?
The Russian powerlifter gave Arnold that cup, and he's been drinking coffee. And I was asking Colin maybe if he met him.
No, I got punched in the face a lot by a boxer not by a real boxer. I don't know if that counts. But.
I kind of really wanted Arnold to call Putin a girly man. I don't know why. The whole time I'm like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. He's like, now my last words for you, Putin. You're a girly man. You need to be like us. You need to be fantastic.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
One of my friends did a community poll asking what the best Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liner is, and so now I want to know.
Cool off.
His one-liners are so lame.
No. His best one-liner is Matt's one-liner. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Yeah.
Me and my friends say "get in the chopper" all the time.
Of course.
I like doing "do it now." Right here.
I like.
Oh, you know.
I just like the classic. Nyang.
There's another one that's really funny from oh my goodness, Total Recall, when he's like, "Damn it, Quagan, let the people get the air."
Oh my gosh,
that's a good one.
It's so iconic. I love Arnold so much.
Yeah.
Come on, kill me. Come on.
Something I would like Arnold. There's that scene in Terminator 2 when they're driving down the desert, and he's telling Sarah Connor the history of how Judgment Day happened and everything, and he's obviously talking very robotically. But it wasn't because he was just trying to sound robotic. It was because he was reading the lines because they were on the dashboard because he couldn't remember all the lines. They were like on the dashboard, and so he was just like mechanically reading them. And then, but one part in that where he was like, in a panic, they tried to put a plug. I don't know why that part tickles me so much. It's the way he says it. They try to put a plug.
It's so funny. Think of all the actors that try so hard, and then they're like, well, Arnold's a superstar, so he gets to just do that.
he gets the pass.
He's
special.
He does. There's something so endearing about his awful quotes.
Yeah.
Hey, Bennett, let off some steam.
Oh, Lord,
We're gonna play a wonderful game called "Who Is My Daddy?" and what does he do?
Yeah, he was talking in his biography about how, because I read his biography, or listened to his biography, Total Recall. That is a monster of a book. And he was talking about how those one-liners, like they started to, obviously the fans started to enjoy them, thought they were really funny. And so now he would tell the writers of whatever movie he was in, make sure to put some, really ridiculous one-liner in there because that kind of became his trademark.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like the whole scene where he like that one guy in that machine that was trying to, use that drill machine. And then he picks up that drill and he's like, "Screw you."
Which movie was that from?
That was Total Recall.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like,
my
oh
God.
yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I rewatched The Running Man a couple months ago because it had been a while since I'd seen it. It's not really my favorite Arnold movie, but it feels a little relevant to today because a
It's
lot of it's
original.
about like, media manipulation and or how the media manipulates people and what they perceive to be truth. So I thought that was kind of
Wait, when did that one
interesting.
come out?
That one came out in the late 80s. Like
I'd say
87.
I was gonna say 87, 88 as well.
Yeah, at the same time that Dirty Dancing came out, I remember around that same time. Because I saw it at the beach. We went to the beach, Tim.
Mhm.
We all had a family trip to the beach, and one night Mom and Dad went out to see Dirty Dancing.
Oh, well.
And the next night, I think Dad and I went out to go see The Running Man. It was funny because they came back telling me about Dirty Dancing and the dancing in there, and they were like sort of reenacting it for me, and I'm like, this is not something I want to see.
Surprised we didn't get a sibling after that.
Right?
I liked 6 Days Later with Arnold and Michael Rooker.
Oh yeah, but that was like 2000-ish.
Yeah, the 6th day.
The clone.
Yeah.
Sorry, this
Cloning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed
pretty
the
good.
film too. So, well,
the Elf.
It's back to 2003. Phone booth.
yeah, Colin Farrell, Kiefer
Yeah.
Sutherland.
It's a good movie.
There was some hype for that, and then I remember coming out, reading about that. I used to read about movies a lot, like what's coming out, what's happening. I was way more excited about movies and like been disappointed so many times. But I remember reading that like they were gonna make a lot of that movie in one shot, and then I feel like I saw it and it didn't turn out that way. Maybe was it a remake and the original did that or something? But it turned out to be a little more Hollywood than I was led to think it would. It wasn't bad. It was still pretty good. But I don't know if anyone else remembers that kind of like, am I misremembering?
I don't remember whether that was supposed to be. I remember I saw it once, and I mostly because Kiefer Sutherland was in it, and I really like him. But I remember feeling a little underwhelmed at the time. However, if I rewatched it, I might like it more now. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's no more phone booths, so it's just not relevant.
Has anybody here seen Elf?
Of course.
Oh, Lord.
Of course.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
classic.
ashamed to admit I watched that stupid movie.
I have never seen that movie, to be honest.
A lot of
Peter
people really.
Dinklage as a kid.
really like it.
I remember Corey watching it one
You
time.
like it?
Dinklage.
I like it. When he saw the Santa at the mall, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
No,
It's
because
not Santa. This is not Santa.
okay, so I'm not a huge Will Ferrell fan. I don't think he's all that funny.
You
I
haven't
just
watched
don't.
Step Brothers.
He's
I
pretty
have
funny.
no
I
desire
like
to see
him.
Step Brothers at all.
He was okay in the Lego movie.
I mean, I think he's one. I think so many main comedians. It's weird. It's like once they're like really famous and they get big roles, they like all of a sudden they become like they play to a broad audience and they lose their appeal to me. Where even you could look at like Steve Martin and shit like that back in the day, or like Ben Stiller, like you're talking about when he's the lead, or like Jack Black. Even it's like and like Will Ferrell. I feel like they get so big that you know them for almost as you know them as much for their bad stuff more than their good stuff. I think Will Ferrell really is funny, but he's done a lot of movies too that are not so good.
Like Holmes and Watson.
They're just okay, or maybe he's not as funny in the movie as he could be. But I think he's really funny. He's done enough things that have cracked me up.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I can definitely say I'm not like a fan of his newer stuff or a lot of stuff I've seen in him recently. But when he does these small roles in things, like he was in Eastbound and Down, and he was like the car salesman, and it's again that small role where you get it's almost like like Tylenol. They're good in small doses, like at a certain point, and in large doses they'll kill you. So
Okay, Tim.
yeah,
He's also good drumming in the Chili Peppers.
yes, he's a great drummer of the Chili Peppers.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Is that a band or a movie?
You've never heard of the Red Hot Chili Peppers? He's the drummer.
Oh, I have heard of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but he's not the drummer.
He's the drummer. He's the drummer.
Mhm.
They look
No, he
like
isn't.
twins. They do look like twins.
Okay, I was like, no, he's totally not. I know he's not.
They were like on like Conan or something together, a late night show.
Yeah.
That next together and brought up.
Oh, that's funny. I'll have to look them up and see. So
There's a clip
Tim,
from the I can't remember the name of the drummer, but someone shouts out Will Ferrell at a gig, and he just fucking throws the drumsticks down and storms off.
He's pissed off.
Fucking sick of this, man.
yes, Alex, I do, but not very often because they are a major pain to edit. However, I discovered that in OBS, you can record different audio sources separately. So
You know
now
what?
I think if I do any sort of reaction like that, it will be much easier to be able to tell when I'm actually talking or responding to the film. So the editing, I think, will go much more quickly than with the audio all combined into one file. That's such a pain to have
We
to
need
edit.
to get back to Steins Gate.
Yeah. Well, yes, we do need to get back to Steins Gate, but I was going to mention Dreamcatcher because it was brought up. And Timothy, I remember when I saw Dreamcatcher, I was driving home from the weekend at Bud Indiana's, driving home, and we were talking on the phone. I was telling you we had seen the movie and how awful it was. And I was giving you a rundown, and I was talking about this guy that was like pooping worms out of his butt. And I remember you started laughing so hard, and you laughed and laughed and laughed so hard. That was really
It's the only
bad
thing
for you to
it's the only thing I think about when I think about the movie Dreamcatcher.
That actually happened.
Yeah.
Yes, it was so bad, D. It was so bad.
Yeah, they're butthole aliens.
I think I kind of remember you telling me about that.
Oh, it was awful. And I just remember when I told Timothy about that, he just like screaming with laughter so hard. And I'm driving down the interstate and I'm laughing because you're laughing. And I remember thinking, this is a little dangerous. I'm driving and I'm really cracked up.
It was the way she described it in the visual that I got. It's just like, what in the hell? We've had aliens bursting out of chests. We've had aliens like flying from the skies, but now they're coming out of butts, and it's like, what is happening?
So bad. It was so bad, y'all. Oh my gosh. It was a Stephen King.
Yeah, I think
What?
it was when he was.
Stephen King.
I think it was when he was heavily medicated after his accident because that was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful. I was like, I felt embarrassed for Morgan Freeman that he was in this movie because it was just
He
so
was in it? I forgot.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the reasons I watched it, and also because it was a Stephen King. It was just like, oh, this is so bad.
As a matter of fact, that is the worst movie I've ever played in.
Would
Has
you
anyone
say it's
seen
the
Milo?
worst Stephen King movie ever?
What's that?
Milo? No.
Worst Stephen
Milo?
King movie
No.
ever? What is?
Wait, Milo?
Yeah, it's about a butt monster.
Oh God. I don't. You know what? I don't. Worst Stephen King movie ever? I don't know. Tim might think it's Cell.
Cell was a terrible movie and a terrible book. It was just
I
god
never
awful.
watched that all the way through, but off the top of my head, I feel like Dreamcatcher was just really awful, and I can't think of other Stephen King films that I've disliked as much as Dreamcatcher.
Wait, The Cell was a Stephen King book?
No, not The Cell, just
Cell.
Cell.
Yeah.
Cell.
Okay.
Yeah, The Cell with
Jennifer Lopez.
and Vincent D'Onofrio. That's a completely different story.
Okay, yeah. I didn't think.
Yeah, totally
No.
different.
Cell had was it
Cell had Samuel Jackson and John Cusack because they were also
they
in
also in
1408.
1408, which was I think was
Both of
also
those
a
are
Stephen King.
Yeah, that was
Weird.
kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And 1408 was also kind
I
of.
didn't like that too much. I didn't think it was very good.
Yeah, I like aspects of it, but all together, I was like, okay.
Yeah, at the end, I felt kind of disappointed.
There was an Eddie Murphy movie, The Haunted Mansion, that came out this year. I remember when that was a buzz.
I remember that too.
I don't remember if I watched that one or
Yeah,
not.
it was a dud of a movie.
It was. I was annoyed that I'd been on the ride, and I guess I was expecting, even for me to be a kid, I don't know if it's because I was into darker, more macabre thing, not macabre things. Not that I expected it to be some R-rated movie, but it's just this whole goofy kitty. It's just, I don't know, the approach they took with it, even if it was going to be family friendly, I don't know. I just didn't. It was too
Yeah,
good.
it had like a Casper Flubber feel to it. Like it just was.
Right.
It's a Disney movie, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then there's something here called The Missing.
Oh, I
That
remember
wasn't so great. That was Kate Blanchett and Tommy Lee Jones, I think.
Yeah.
I saw it once, and I remember feeling not super impressed with it for whatever reason.
And wasn't The Hunted also this year? That was Tommy Lee Jones and
Yeah,
Benicio del Toro.
about that, Tim.
It's
Wasn't.
It was an interesting movie. I actually thought it was pretty interesting how it was put together.
I was so unimpressed with that film.
Really?
I felt like it was pretty bad. I felt like that. Well, like maybe the premise was okay, but there was just no character development.
It was.
I just didn't.
It was mainly Benicio del Toro's fault.
You think it was his fault or just the writing?
I think it was his fault. He himself was stale, but I liked Tommy Lee Jones' character in that movie.
I feel like they're both good in almost anything, but the writing was just. I was super disappointed.
One I mean, it's not a high rated movie either, but it was one of the first movies that I saw with Vin Diesel where I was like, oh, he can actually do some really good, like emotional acting. It was A Man Apart. I liked that movie, despite it not getting like great reviews or anything. It was still entertaining. I think so. Yeah. We
have that on Vudu. Remember.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it, D?
Which one was it?
A Man Apart.
I remember. Was that Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, at the time, I don't think I was allowed to watch it, but I did. I remember hearing like a lot of different things about it, so I have to add that to my watch list because I did want to see that at the time.
I will say like one of the most impactful scenes in that movie was the premise is that he's a DEA agent. He takes out a cartel, and then the cartel hires somebody to kill his wife, and his wife's pregnant, I think, maybe too. Yeah. So he loses his wife and his kid, and then he's almost killed too, and he comes out of it, and this main drug cartel guy, he gets thrown in prison, and then people are killing his family, so it's like a rival cartel. Right. And so he's trying to stop that rival cartel, and he's going to go do a buy, and he's supposed to sell this product, whatever, and they have this meet, and he has like no patience, and somebody like makes a joke to him about like some girl coming on to him, and he about gets in this fight in the middle of like setting up a drug deal. Then he goes to do the drug deal, and while he's talking to the guy, all he has to do is get the product and exchange the money. And while the guy's talking to him, he tells him pretty much, yeah, I had to kill this DEA agent's wife. And he goes, and you know what? She was pregnant. And he realizes he's looking at the guy that killed his wife. Whoa. And he just grabs the guy, kills him in the middle of everything. And then there's this huge shootout in the middle of the street. And then he just sits down, hunkered by this car, just like holding his head, like, what the heck did I just do? And his partner's like, whoa, like what? Whoa. It was such an intense scene when this, and everyone's trying, these cartel guys are trying to shoot them. They have the undercover guys that are trying to shoot them, and he's just sitting in the middle of it while it's all going down. It was a crazy, crazy scene.
That's wow. Cool. I never saw that, man.
That shit was gnarly.
Yeah, I'll try to check that out. I'm not a big Vin Diesel fan at all, but
no, this is the one time where his acting was really good. Yeah. Other than that, it's we live my life half a mile at a time.
I think I'm going to try to check out Pitch Black too, because that was recommended a few shows back.
I think that's one of his better movies. Yeah, it's good.
Do you have that on Vudu, Tim?
I don't know. I think I have Chronicles of Riddick, which I liked it just because Carl Urban was in it. But Pitch Black had a good premise. It was just really dark for reasons as we know.
I know. Does Carl Urban speak with an American accent in Chronicles of Riddick?
Yes.
Because I'm trying to think. Yeah, because I thought I thought he'd only spoken like an American in Judge Dredd.
No, he speaks like an American. He speaks like an American in Star Trek too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Lord of the Rings.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I completely forgot he was in that. He was in the first one, right?
He gets killed. He was Boromir's brother. Aramir, is that right? Aramir?
Yeah. Or Faramir.
Okay.
No, he was one of the Horse Lord people.
Yeah, I thought he was. It was Boromir's brother, though, right? Wasn't he Boromir's brother? Or am I getting it wrong?
You're getting mixed up. His brother lived in the other city.
Okay, so it's Aramir then.
Aomir.
Okay.
He was the brother of the girl the woman that lived there, AON.
Yeah.
Okay. See, confused the names.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I right.
I love those movies.
Answer?
Well, I can
What is
answer-
everybody's favorite horror movies?
I was just gonna say I can quickly answer. It's Halloween 1978, followed very closely by Halloween 2018. But that's easy for me. And it's kind of getting us off track of the 2003. I don't know if
Yes,
you
we're
guys-
going back in time now.
I'll just throw out what The Ritual. I don't even know if it's the right name. I should know the name, but the one where the 4 dudes in Europe
They
go in
go
the
out
woods.
into the forest, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that one. And there's
okay.
like a monster out in the woods.
Yeah.
They find a crazy village. That's at least
Is that where that tree kind of weird monster with the face, the hands covered in the face?
Is it
Was
something
that
with
that one?
antlers? I
No,
thought-
it's, well, I don't want to give it away, but it's.
Yeah, right.
I don't think so.
I thought I knew what it was, but I don't want to say either.
Okay.
Um,
Was that
Someone
that
can't wait for
wasn't
the 2010s.
the Netflix, right? Was that not Netflix?
it's
It's Netflix.
It's
Then I did see that. Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
I really like it.
I don't know. Horror movies, I just think they're hard for me to really get pulled in by it. Probably because I took so many film classes. Anytime I'm watching, my brain always goes, "Oh, I wonder how that was filmed," and I get pulled right out of it.
Oh, speaking
My favorite
of
horror movie, which is the only correct answer, is The Thing.
It's, yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah, the thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which
and
one?
the-
movie.
John
probably the original, or
The
not the original,
or the
not
John
the John Carpenter version, not the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was good.
I do like that movie.
It's a really
I
good.
think it still holds up,
Mm-hmm.
to be
It
honest.
does.
Yeah.
An American
And,
Werewolf
well,
in London for me.
and I have to
Yeah.
say that I would have to probably
good
still
too.
default to. I'd probably have to still default to Alien in general.
The first one.
Yeah, if that's a horror movie, then yeah, Alien's up for sure.
Just and not Aliens, just Alien.
Yeah, I like the first one. For me is the best.
The
better.
set pieces and the models really even hold up. If you get a HD version of that movie and you watch it, it's still really good.
Yeah, we actually watched that a while ago at
Mhm.
Buddy Indiana's, and I remember Corey was mentioning how it actually in HD, Blu-ray HD, it
Mhm.
looks really, it still
It
looks
does
really good
Really good.
for
Yeah.
a '79 movie.
Right.
Even Blade Runner, it's if you get an HD version and you watch the HD,
Yeah,
the police cruisers flying down, all that stuff looks really clean.
see, it's funny because I recently watched Midnight Run, and just all the work that they did to make it look really nice.
I like what
I think it still holds too, that movie, because of all the stuff that they did to make it look better.
Something just clicked in my head, which is why horror maybe doesn't stick out to me as much, and I don't rewatch it as much. Is because that's the most like once you've seen it once, it never can really replicate like the scariness. Once you know what's for me at least. The first time, the second time's never better or as close to as good as the first time. When I'm
You mean like a subsequent viewing of
in
a horror movie?
In a horror movie.
Oh,
Where
tell
I'm
tell
so
Sin-
like, what's
tell
gonna
Sin that about Halloween.
Yeah,
She
no,
will tell
that
you
movie.
subsequent
yeah.
viewings don't change it.
No, it does not. And if I watch it and it's nighttime, I cannot take the dogs out at night. Someone else has to for me.
Don't
Yeah,
worry,
that's how
Sin. Michael is
scared
going
I
to pay you a visit.
It's so stupid. It really is dumb that I'm still that scared of it. But yeah, no, it really is. I still have nightmares
You
about
do
it.
realize he could pay you a visit anytime he wanted to.
I know because you got that big mask. Don't come down here with that mask on.
I will
Hmm.
say that An American Werewolf in London, which is my answer. But for whatever reason, it does not. I wouldn't be inclined to walk into a subway by myself anyway. But that whole
Yeah.
scene where he's
Right.
there by himself, and then the thing, I can't. Yeah, I have a thing about subways ever since I saw that.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that was a good
Werewolves
film.
scare me,
I remember I
too.
liked that
A lot.
film. I like.
I remember as a kid remembering how he changed that the one time in that room, and I was like, "Whoa!" I was kind of blown away by that.
Yes.
That's pretty gruesome.
No, you're thinking Blade Runner. Blade Runner is Harrison
Blade.
Ford really shot.
Blade
Really
2 is kind of creepy with those vampires.
Very.
Those were some freaky ass vampires, but I liked them. It was
Yeah.
cool how they. I was going to mention the Italian Job. Someone mentioned the Italian Job. I actually toyed with the idea of watching it recently because it was a 2003, but I didn't have time. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's been a while. I feel like it was a good heist movie.
it was a good heist movie.
Yeah,
I like
I
this
was
movie.
surprised that didn't kind of continue because it was a really solid film. But I
Really?
really
I
enjoyed
think I think one of the reasons that I have never watched it is because it's a heist movie, and those aren't really my favorite type of films.
She doesn't like watching Donald Sutherland die over and over. I mean, all his movies.
Oh,
Wait.
don't say that.
Is he in there? Donald Sutherland doesn't die in all his movies.
He's like almost the older version of Sean Bean. He's always getting taken out.
That sounds
Wait.
fun.
That would be fun. I thought about actually doing
One
something like
time.
that.
T2.
We did.
Oh, well, it wasn't really reaction.
It was a watch party,
Watch
and
party.
you know what, Colin? I still haven't edited the rest of it. I did 30 minutes. I have to do it in parts.
Oh man.
But remember how wonky the tech was? Like it was.
Watch it again.
It was off scene. I feel like we should do it again because I could watch it. That would be fun, actually. I wouldn't mind. doing that.
2004, we could do a reaction to One Night in Paris.
What's that? I don't
Paris
know.
is a sex tape.
Okay,
Oh.
yes. Oh yeah, that. Oh, I can't.
It's actually hard for me to pick a favorite horror movie.
See, I never trust him. Whenever he like gives a suggestion like that, I'm like, I just know he's coming. It's coming from some bad place.
So it's coming from a bad place, Simon.
Yeah.
I still hadn't figured it out. I thought he was talking about Midnight in Paris.
I thought he was at first. I thought he was talking about that movie, From Paris with Love, and I was like, wait, what?
Well,
I
I forgot.
Last Tango in Paris, which is a very
Yeah, I would rather not see that either. I don't want to do a group
She's
chat.
made a lot of sex tips, hasn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh Lord. All right. But that's a good suggestion, and maybe we will. I would love to do that because I was thinking today. D, it would be really fun to watch a movie with you that we've never seen before because you and I have very similar tastes, and we think pretty similarly about the stuff that we watch. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll
Definitely.
do something like that.
Down anytime.
I'm not. Right. We'll just have to figure out which one.
Yeah, there's so many. That's the issue.
I know, and I go see movies in the theaters all the time. So
Right.
I'm going to go see Morbius. I'm
am too.
excited. I hope it's good, but it
Me
might
too.
not.
After all these delays.
I know, right? What's tomorrow? I'm going to go see the Batman with the kids, and then I'm going to see Princess Mononoke on Wednesday because it's Studio Ghibli's doing their thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then later this year I want to go see Howl's Moving Castle, and then I'm going to go see Morbius. So, boy, I got a movie-packed week. It's a good thing I don't have an audiobook I'm working on right now.
Right.
So
on that note, I'm probably going to dip out. If that's
yeah,
okay.
you hung around 2 hours. I think last time it was 3.
Yeah, it was 3, and I literally didn't realize.
You can hang around for about 30 more minutes.
Is he gonna? D, are you gonna give your top three?
Top 3?
Okay,
Yeah,
so the thing is, there are obvious ones. So like, of course, Return of the King and Finding Nemo and like Pirates of the Caribbean. Those are kind of obvious ones.
Yeah.
Those are films I love. But I will go with. I really enjoy Bad Santa, so that would probably be my number 3. It just was not a film I saw coming, and then just even I wasn't that young, but just even the whole idea of a Christmas film and a film centered around Santa to go where it goes, it was a really hilarious film. I have to rewatch that one soon. My second one would probably be Girl with the Pearl Earring. You know, I love my period pieces.
Yeah,
so,
you've mentioned that one before in some of your videos.
Yeah, and so it's Colin Firth and Scarlett Johansson, and basically it's about it's a very famous painting called "Girl with the Pearl Earring," and it's kind of giving this the inspiration and this young maid and the relationship that kind of developed as her having this artistic vision and him being an artist and all the conflict that causes. Because they're in this household and not everyone agrees with how that plays out and then how the painting comes about. So it's a really beautifully made film. The performances are great. I still think this is probably Scarlett Johansson's best performance. I wish she had done more stuff like this. But Colin Firth is great. The whole film is just a really excellent film. And my number one, maybe it's an obvious one, but it's just a really enjoyable movie. Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yeah.
Just love it. Even beyond the action, it's like the soundtrack. That's like one of my favorite soundtracks ever. Like every single song, the way they incorporate like that. I think that might have been one of the earliest films that got me into like hardcore like violence and kind of gore stuff. Because before that, I was very like, and I was surprised by how mesmerized I was by like the carnage. So
Mesmerized by
it's beautiful.
Is that your favorite Tarantino, or do you have a different favorite? Do you know?
It's hard. I would say it's hard between that and Django, and I actually really like Death Proof also. Yeah. So I probably have to go back in, but Kill Bill is probably kind of go to. It's definitely up there.
So before you go, if you I don't know what year it came from, but there's a movie called 4 Rooms. It's got Tim Roth in it, and it's it got Antonio Banderas, I think. Have you seen it, D?
No, but I'll
okay.
Put that on
So there it's broken down into several little parts, and the last part actually has Quentin Tarantino, and I can't remember who else he's with in the room. It's like another high-profile actor, I think.
Is it Bruce Willis?
Yes, it's Bruce Willis. And so the story's about this bellhop that has to go between all these.
Tim Roth is the bellhop, right?
Yeah. And so the
ago.
very last one ends with being in the like the penthouse suite with Quentin Tarantino, and the film is shot all in one take. And there's loads of dialogue, but it is so smooth, and then how it ends is hilarious. So you have to watch that movie, and if you don't have time to watch the movie, watch that last segment.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. Okay, cool. Sounds good. I'm going on my watch list right now.
All right.
All right, Dee. Thanks for joining us.
Definitely. We'll see you guys next time. Appreciate it.
Keep in touch about the
next time. You can stay 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to dip out too. I got to have dinner with the K. Already ate without me.
Oh no! Sorry.
It's all right.
Top 3.
Before you go, see you, D.
Well, I'm definitely gonna say Kill Bill's in there. Bad Boys 2, probably because it's one of the ones from that year that I've watched the most. Also, was it also The Last Samurai came out that year, right, with Tom Cruise and Ken Watson?
Yeah,
it's a phenomenal movie in my opinion. It's really interesting. I know some people give it a little bit of hate, but I thought it was a great movie. I've watched that movie several times over the last few years. I probably should give it another viewing soon.
Yeah, I should rewatch it. I watched it a couple times. I liked it.
Yeah, I saw it once.
The director.
It reminded me of Dances with Wolves, except in Japan.
Yeah, except
I have never seen that movie.
I think Dances with Wolves is worse.
Was worse? Really?
Yeah,
I enjoyed it okay.
There's something about Kevin Costner's acting in that movie.
And Dances with Wolves,
Yeah, he was just almost trying too hard, whereas Tom Cruise is not, seeming like he was trying to go overboard with his assimilation, I guess. All right, I'm coming. All right, well, I'll see you guys later. I'll probably watch the last part of the stream and catch everybody else's top 3s. By the way, was it Simon? You gave your 3 last time of Were you on the last stream where they were going over?
Yeah,
okay.
He was.
And it was, as I was watching it, and you said it was Road to Perdition. It was The Departed, and Catch Me If You Can. And I was like, it's funny because it was a Leo movie, a Hanks movie, and a Leo Hanks movie.
Right.
Yeah. Right. As soon as you said it, I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, right. So. Yeah, you wrote that on the comment, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a good night.
You too.
Bye, Tim.
We're going, Tim.
All right. Bye.
Daddy. Well, that was fun. He could join us. I don't usually send them invites because he's usually busy and working, and so is my other brother. But I was like, I'll just send it just in case. So.
What's his real name? I don't want to keep referring to him as Turd.
His real name is Tim. Timothy. We call him Tim. Yeah.
I like having 6 people.
There are some who call me Tim.
What?
It keeps me better.
Oh, it's a Monty Python the Holy Grail thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Tim would get that. He likes that. I've never seen it. Yeah, it's nice to have a bunch of people. Sometimes, we talk over each other and some people can't hear and whatever, but
it's too bad we can't get John.
6 is a good number. It gets if it's too much more than that, it's a weird balance. Where like
Then it's
8 or 10 is kind of gets to be a lot.
bit of
10
chaos.
is a
Yeah.
lot. But then 3 or 4, I feel like I don't want to talk too much,
John,
but I do.
you gotta join us for this.
Who? Who are you talking
John.
about? Art?
John.
Or sorry, Joe. Never mind.
Oh,
Joe. It's been a while. Sorry.
John? What
Not
John?
John. It's Joe.
Okay, well, I guess I'll list my top 3
Okay.
for 2003. We've talked about we've talked about all of these already, so none of them would be as like I liked X2. X-Men 2, Underworld, obviously. And I was going to say, you know, despite the issues with Terminator 3, I was going to say maybe that was in my top 3, but having rewatched Out of Time again, I feel like that edges it out for sure. So, those are, and I don't feel, probably I feel the strongest about X2 and Underworld more than Out of Time, but
Underworld.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. Like I feel like honorable mentions would probably be for me Kill Bill and Out of Time, and then it would probably be well, see, okay, the 3 could change, but number 1 will always be Underworld for me, and then 2 maybe Pirates, and then 3 X-Men.
oh yeah, forgot about Pirates. I forgot about that. That was a fun film.
But those can actually switch.
Yeah.
Wait, what was 3 you said? Wait. Underworld, Pirates.
2 was Pirates, and then 3 was X-Men.
And X-Men. Underworld, Pirates, X-Men, and Kill Bill.
But number 1 will always be Underworld.
Yeah, I love that movie.
And then honorable mentions would be Out of Time and Kill Bill.
I really enjoyed Pirates, though. That was a surprisingly fun film. I remember when it came out the weekend after Terminator 3, and it bumped Terminator 3 from the number 1 spot. And I remember like, dang it, you know?
Yeah.
But the trailers looked really fun. I did not see that on the big screen. I didn't see it until
I remember seeing trailers for that back then.
Yeah, and I remember the different scenes that they showed. And then by the time the second one came out, I'd already seen the first one, and I did like it a lot because I felt like Johnny Depp was he was so good.
He was the best part about
just looking at him. The way he carries his body, the way the look on his face. He's so funny.
Yeah, but, I really like that movie. I didn't think I would. I thought it was like, Disney. It's really
right.
Popular, safe, corporate. And then eventually saw it. I don't think I saw it in the theater, but I did see it after a while. You know, it was so popular. I was like, it's not gonna be that good. And then I was like, oh man, I do like this a lot. Like Jack Sparrow. It was just a fun movie. And
absolutely,
I had a crush on Keira Knightley, and I bought the DVD and watched it a few times. I like the second. We talked about the second one. You know, that's my
second one's really funny. I really enjoyed that until the end.
I love it, and because it's all like
I hated that.
I love the locale, the scenery makes it. That I don't even remember what the plot was. I just remember the scenery is all blue skies and ocean, pretty, trees and
water. They spent a lot of time in the jungle, but the very end was on the boat. And he dives into the monster, into the mouth of the monster, and that's how it ended. And I hated that ending. Yeah. It was like the big squid or whatever. Yeah, I hated the way that it hated.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, Turo, I keep clicking it, and then you click, and then we.
I remember seeing that the second movie in movie theaters at the time, and I remember the Kraken scenes always disturbed me.
I love the Kraken scenes. I remember sitting up front in the front row because it was like coming down.
Yeah.
It wasn't even
3D. The very front row. That's like one of the worst places.
Yeah. I said that I always sit in the second row, and I put my feet up on the front row.
Oh my
Every time I go to a movie, unless I don't really care. If I'm with usually when I go with people, I'll abandon them and go up to the second. They have to come up with me. If I don't really care, if it's not like a visual stunner, I usually only go to the theater for visual stunners, and then I go up in the front row.
The very front row. See, that hurts my eyes to be that close to the screen. It's just
you gotta put your feet. You put your feet back on the front row. And
it's still too close. It's still too close.
You gotta look around to see it all. That's what it makes you feel like you're in there because you're like, what's going on over there? Otherwise, I see other people's heads and I'm like, I'm in a movie theater. if I'm in the
But
middle.
do you have the type of what type of movie theater do you go to? Does it have like the big recliner seats or?
Yeah, well, no, they did upgrade them what they used to be. They're kind of reclinery. They're pretty big and reclinery. It's not an AMC. It's a Hollywood Regal, whatever.
Oh, Regal.
Yeah, it's all right. It's like we have a 14 screen and an 8 screen, so it's not like a big 30 screen AMC or anything.
Oh yeah, I don't think we have.
Seats.
We don't have one that big around here, but yeah, I like those big nice chairs. I think I saw Open Range maybe once, and I could not tell you now what it's about. I think it's a Western, but that's all I remember.
I don't know.
So
Yeah,
we can in ours too. I mean, I guess depends which one you go to, but the one that we go to, Cinemark, you can order drinks and food and like actual meals and stuff.
That's cool. They only have it at the independent theater here. You can't.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it used to be.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. The smaller sort of, yeah.
Well, I'll do my top 3.
Okay.
Because I think we talked about 2 of them. Yeah, we talked about, and I will honorable mention Pirates and like Dee said, Pirates and Return of the King. I love those movies. But we've talked about them. Everyone knows about those. So I will say top 3 for the year. Probably number 1 is Kill Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that. I love Tarantino. And it is, for me, it's peak Tarantino. But it is close. I like, I like his different style, all his different movies. Then Matrix Reloaded, we talked about. And that action scene alone is just, love it so much. Really cool. And then
you talked about it multiple times, so I know you really like it.
Yeah. That was one that, lived up to the hype. I saw it. I was real excited about it going into it, and then it lived up to it, and I saw it a bunch of times in theaters. I rarely do movies live up to my excitement, but that one did. And then my favorite movie we didn't talk about. So I don't know if anyone's seen it, but I highly recommend it to martial arts fans. The trailer I put on this Discord, Onbak. Tony Jaa.
Oh, Ombak. Yeah, that's right. You mentioned that before, and I actually made a mental note to check that out, and then I forgot.
Well, if you've watched the trailer, I mean, the trailer gives you a taste, and that is like probably my favorite martial arts movie after Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee.
Okay.
And I could go on about that. I would highly recommend it. It's 2 words, Ongbak.
BAK, yeah.
And it's Thai. Tony Jaa, I was sure he was going to be a huge star, and I think it just boils down to he never learned to speak English very good.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that. I remember you saying something about thinking that he was going to really hit it big.
Mm-hmm.
Does he still act, but just like in his...
I mean, he was actually in, what was it? Not the last, but the second to last Fast and Furious movie, I think. And he was just like a goon in one scene.
Okay.
Lieutenant or goon, didn't have a line, just fought The Rock or something.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's still making movies, but he never really got big.
He didn't cross over.
Yeah, and so I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I don't know. But Ongbak is like the most impressive thing ever. I mean, I saw the previews. I remember a commercial on TV came out, and I never heard of it. And I was like, holy crap. And I think it was actually 2004, and it came on DVD. I went and bought the DVD, and like, man, it's like, this was like before in 2004, MMA was maybe starting off, but it wasn't like it is today. It was not like a huge thing that was everywhere. I didn't really know about Muay Thai at the time. So this was my introduction to that as well. And, oh man, just like, he fights so well. He can jump really high. He is such control. He does, like I said, all his own. There's no CG. And I remember talking about him before where Jackie Chan has more balls and he does crazy shit. And he's obviously really athletic. But Tony Jaa, I think, is more impressive with how
more artistic looking.
Maybe not artistic, but just maybe it is artistic, but it's like he can jump higher and do things that most martial arts dudes I don't think can do. He's just really fast and jumpy, and his fighting is so fun to watch. And this movie and then the one that came next, The Protector, are his 2 best movies. And they're just, if you're a martial arts fan, I can't recommend them enough. They've got so many good fights. There's just like, and then like kind of boring story, whatever.
Where the story's not so great. What did you think of The Raid?
The Raid, I saw it once, and honestly, like, it was good, but it didn't blow me away.
I was amazed by that one.
And
the fight choreography that did blow me away.
Wait, what is that about?
It's a martial arts movie.
I looked forward to The Raid a lot. I was really hyped on it, and I remember seeing it and being like, "Yeah, it's good," but it didn't stick with. It didn't blow me away like I wanted. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, and maybe it's because of movies like Ong Bak and The Protector, where because those Tony Jaa movies,
you're spoiled by those.
They raised the bar so high.
Yeah.
That something like The Raid, I think at best it met the bar or came just a little short of it. So to me, it wasn't that exciting. I don't know. I wanted to love it, and it's not bad, but it's just I think Tony Jaa movies are better. I think at least his first two, they're just so crazy good to me. But again, maybe not everyone feel that way. But as the non-martial arts scenes aren't that great, you know, it's okay, it's passable. But and watching him fight, man, is really exciting for me more than any other. Only Bruce Lee matches where it's like this guy kicks some ass. So that he's always really excited me, and I love Ong Bak. Gotta say that. Gotta bring. And so I was thinking, actually, my 3 favorite movies this year: Kill Bill, Ong Bak, and then Matrix Reloaded. It's really all about action. 3 of my favorite action movies would be this year. It's those 3 right there. So yeah, for a good year for action movies, not a lot else that I like a whole lot. And that's it.
Okay. Simon?
Top 3?
Yeah.
Before we get into that, I was just looking at the film debuts, and there's a bunch of notable names.
Yeah. What's up?
Mahershala Ali in Making Revolution. Miranda Cosgrove in The School of Rock. Benedict Cumberbatch in To Kill a King. Zac Efron, Selena Gomez. Eva Green. Anna Kendrick, Danny Bride, Chris Pratt. Lee Winnell, who was the writer of Saw and Insidious. And Kirsten Wiig. Oh, and Dexter himself, Michael C. Hall.
What was his debut? What was it?
Paycheck.
Oh, yeah. I almost watched that film. I think I saw it a long time ago. And I almost rewatched it in preparation for this. But then I thought, no, I've seen it before, so I'm not going to rewatch it. But then I saw Michael C. Hall was in there. And that tempted me because I like him. Okay. Interesting. I did not realize that was his first.
I think I've seen that. I can't remember. There's a lot going on for me in 2003. So top 3 is 21 Grams.
Sean Penn?
Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, etc.
That's a drug movie, right? That's probably why I didn't watch it.
No.
No, it's not.
21 Grams, but it's The Weight of a Soul, right?
Yeah. It's directed by Inarritu.
Okay, what's the premise for
it? It's about guilt, really, I suppose.
It's a complex drama.
Yeah.
That's why I think I watched it once and I was like, it's good, but I couldn't watch it.
Okay, yeah, they describe it as a psychological drama. For some reason, the title made me think it had to do with drugs. And also, I'm not super crazy about Sean Penn, so I was like, pass. But it's not about that. Okay.
Yeah, the title refers to, I think it's a poem or something. It was some experiment done on people that after they die, they lose 21 grams of weight. And it was some sort of Christian scientist trying to prove that was the weight of the soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's about grief and guilt, and it's kind of depressing, but I really liked it.
Oh, okay. It's got Naomi Watts in it and Danny Houston. Okay.
It's good.
All right.
And
number 2 is 28 Days Later.
Oh yeah, I almost mentioned that.
Well, I think was that like the American release?
See, that's a thing. That's got 2 dates. It's got a 2002 and a 2003.
Yeah,
it confuses me.
We did.
We might have, but I accept it as this year too because sometimes these movies have different dates. And
I'll allow it.
2002 in the UK.
That's a good movie.
2003 in the United
yeah,
States.
yeah.
That was a very good film. I never forgot that opening scene. Holy cow!
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I still have not seen it.
And Once
I
Upon a
know.
Time in Mexico.
what? Okay,
Mm.
Oh, really?
all right.
hmm
Cool.
So what? I can't remember if it's. I think it's. I don't remember if they filmed Once Upon a Time in Mexico in the same place where they filmed. What was that second one called?
Desperado.
Desperado. Okay, I keep thinking that's wrong. I don't know if they filmed it in the
Awesome.
same place, but I think I'd mentioned before, maybe on a live stream, that my husband spent some time in that little town where they filmed that movie, and he recognized like some of the little corner restaurants and this and this. It's kind of funny,
Oh,
but I
cool.
couldn't remember if it was the same place in Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Well, I believe Desperado was more of a Hollywood production, and I'm sure like on location, whatever you're talking about. I don't know that place. Was that?
I don't remember. I don't remember. Was it? Maybe it was. I don't remember if it was
Arizona
Matamoros or
California?
no, it was in Mexico. It was one of the
Mexico.
border places where they filmed.
Okay.
It was parts of it were in Mexico because he knew those places.
I might be mistaken, but I think Once Upon a Time it was Austin.
Okay, so maybe it was filmed in a completely different place than Desperado.
But at the same time, maybe not only Austin. You know, like movies go to multiple places.
Locations, right?
Yeah.
Come here, Chibi.
I think it
Come
was
on,
based
Chibi.
in
Hold on.
Austin, whereas Desperado was based in LA. But
The
I
legend
may
herself.
be mistaken. And then again, like I don't know about the locations they went to. So. That's cool. That's another one that would be. Yeah, I have to mention that one. Like another great action movie this year too.
I just remember Johnny Depp losing his eyes or losing his vision.
Spoiler alert! I haven't
It
even
happens
seen that
early
movie.
on, I thought. It's like, oh no. It happened early on. It was kind of like, it's not like a big, super twisty moment. And I remember that people were feeling like Johnny Depp basically stole the show from the main characters in that movie.
And maybe, I mean, he was like, this was like the year of Jack Sparrow, you know. So
yeah. He was kind of, I felt like he was kind of making a bit of a comeback from some of his other, like he was starting to hit it big again.
Right. Yeah. Jack Sparrow.
Bigger-ish again. Yeah.
Like he was like probably an A-lister before Jack Sparrow, but that made him like one of the big names.
Yeah.
That Once Upon a Time.
He's real. I think he's. Wouldn't you say he's more well known for Jack Sparrow?
It's probably his most famous role. Yeah.
Yeah, one of his. But he's been in so many things, Arturo. He's well
I know
known.
he's been. I like the Nightmare on Elm Street.
That was his debut.
Yeah.
Wait.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Animated movie?
No, the first.
Oh, Freddy Krueger. Yeah, no. I'm thinking of Halloween, whatever. Because I was thinking of Edward Scissorhands, Tim Burton.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, he was the killer. He got killed in the horror. Yeah.
Yeah, through the bed. Got dragged.
Actually, I watched that recently. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
What a bad way to go.
Yep. Okay, I think that's all the
Does
top
anyone
three.
remember? Yeah, does anyone remember Calendar Girls?
No.
That sounds familiar.
No.
Did that
It
come
was
out in 2003?
Yeah, it was a comedy about a group of old ladies doing charity work, and they decided to make a nude calendar.
Oh,
And it was I remember it being very, very popular with women of a certain age in that year.
I never saw that movie, but I kind of remember it now looking at the poster.
It's actually a lot of fun.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to take a quick break. Are you guys going to talk for a little more? Or?
Well, I was going to bring up the shows.
Yeah, I think we're going to move on to shows probably pretty soon.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about TV a little bit too. So I just need to take a quick break. I need to get my coffee and have my smoke.
Get your coffee and have your smoke. All right.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
There's a couple of Irish movies that came out in 2003.
Yeah,
or Irish centric in America. Samantha Morton.
Oh, it's a road drama series.
Yeah, it's
semi-autobiographical. Depressing. Okay, I'll
You
stay
know, the only Irish movie I ever saw was that movie about the what are those animals in the ocean called? They kind of act like little dogs. They want to
Seals?
you know, yeah,
Oh, you're talking about the Secret of Rowan Inish?
something or other.
Rowan,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's like the only Irish movie I've ever seen.
Night.
And the little girl.
Yeah, the little girl. She was like, wasn't her mother like some sort of sea creature or something?
Something or other.
Yeah.
Gosh,
And what were the other ones?
Veronica Guerin. Kate Blanchett.
Oh,
She
that's the one
plays
where she played the reporter.
Yeah.
The true story. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing about her when she got killed.
Yeah.
And then they made the movie.
She was investigating
the
sort of drug scene in Dublin.
Yeah.
And ended up getting assassinated for it.
Yeah. And
spoiler.
Well, I mean, if you know the story, that's one of the reasons I didn't watch it, because I was just like, I don't want to see that. But wasn't she the one? Was it her story where she asked the person who was going to kill her, and she knew that's what was going to? She asked them not to shoot her face, or is that somebody else? Not to shoot her in the face.
It's been a long time since I saw the movie, but yeah, I think that's it.
Was she assassinated in her home or in her car? Because I can't.
Wait, is this a Cold War movie?
No. Because there might have been a story about another reporter that had a hit on them too, and I can't. And sometimes I feel like I'm mixing them together.
Yeah. Again, it's been like 20 years since I saw it, but I remember liking it.
Did they ever find the killer?
I don't know.
The actual gunman?
I don't know.
Oh, the unsolved people should have done that.
I just remember hearing about it and remember thinking it was just absolutely terrible. You know.
When did this happen?
I don't remember what year it happened, but I knew of it because it was reported. At some point I found out about it, maybe like a true crime type thing or some sort of news report that this reporter had been killed. She'd been murdered because of stuff she was investigating.
Was it like mob?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he was saying, drug type stuff.
Gosh, I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, I stayed away from the film. And were there any more?
No, that's it. Just those two.
Okay.
There were a couple we didn't mention, though.
Yeah, which ones?
Let's see. Identity.
Oh, yeah, that's it. When I found out what that was about, I was like, no, thanks.
Yeah.
It's like,
I liked it.
A lot of people did, and probably, I mean, I just think the premise of those types of films always feels like a cop-out type of thing to me.
Yeah.
So I never watched it because I found out what it was about, because I felt like if I watched it not knowing and then I found out, I would be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the one with John Cusack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else is in it. But...
Can't remember who. I'm gonna look it up and see.
I know this is changing the subject, but Will Smith has become a meme now.
Will Smith was a meme before last night.
Well, yeah, but now now that that thing that happened within the
check the memes channel of Sin's Discord.
Oh yeah, that is a pretty active channel. I don't visit there very often, but I know you post a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, I posted a lot of stuff today.
Oh, I bet you did. Okay, Ray Liotta. I remember he was in that.
Yes.
Alfred Molina, Amanda Peet, Rebecca De Mornay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he posted the bad Mila.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to forget that crap happened. That was absolutely terrible.
Fire Emblem? Oh, what?
Another movie that came out was Eli Roth's directorial debut, Cabin Fever.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You know, I saw that movie. Isn't that the one? I'm pretty sure this was because there have been different. There's a second
one.
The
flesh-eating virus.
Right, and I think isn't there a scene in there like this girl's shaven or something, and something like her leg, like it's like real. I just remember there was a scene, and I remember that it was Eli Roth as well. and he's on Shudder. He's got like a documentary series on Shudder talking about horror films, and he showed up before on Joe Bob Briggs, The Last Drive-In. Yeah, he's the dude who played in. Oh shoot! Oh my,
Inglourious
Inglourious
Basterds?
Basterds. Yeah, I think that's the very first time I ever saw him.
Simon, do you
noticed him?
Do you have a YouTube channel?
No.
You ever thought about doing one?
I've thought about it.
Why haven't you done it?
What would you do if you had one? What would it be about?
Well, I am planning to do one not under my name, but it's a programming channel.
I was wondering if it'd be like tech related.
Yeah.
stuff.
But I'm thinking of maybe doing a movie one.
You know a lot of trivia as well. I think Derek is also thinking about doing like some sort of movie related trivia type thing. He's in the middle of a move, and he's going to set up like this movie room and everything with all his DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. So that'd be cool if you did.
Colin,
I would be your first subscriber, Simon.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I don't know. I'm just not a very talkative person, so.
Yeah, you're
I'd be
pretty
like,
quiet
yeah,
during
right.
a lot.
You could. How about you make it like a mystery? Make the trivia like a mystery thriller.
Simon be a great co-host, pulling up the facts, throwing in some jokes.
With his twisted sense of humor.
In this day
I was
and age.
in the cast of Martian Child after you mentioned Cusack. Martian Child, and looked at Amanda Pete's picture on there when you said her name, and you were looking at her picture right when I said her name. That's
weird.
I guess that's
Actually,
stuff like that happens sometimes.
Simon, have you ever tried to write a story or something?
I've had ideas, but I don't really know how to structure them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good with premises, but that's about it.
Maybe, well, I wonder if like a screenplay would be easier.
You know, I started with that. Yeah, I would do that with my scripts because it's just easier.
Easier than writing like a whole novel.
I am.
Well, the premise I'm most fond of that I came up with, which I hope your brother doesn't steal it, is it's just a premise right now. I don't know what exactly I do with it, but they used to have nuclear bomb watch parties in Nevada.
Oh, wow.
Oh, when they would test them.
Yeah, back in the 50s, test bomb.
Oh, yeah, okay,
parties.
yeah. I think I
always thought that would be like a very good sort of Mad Men-esque kind of show.
Hunter S. Thompson. I don't know.
But what sort of themes you'd sort of weave through it, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a cool idea for.
That would be an interesting premise, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love. Yeah, that's why I don't do a YouTube, because I always think, I want to talk. I love talking, but
Colin,
really,
you should.
Well, my problem is I should write a book, which is what I've been saying I should do since
you've been saying that for a while. Yeah,
about 20 years. So anytime I get free time, I think of like, oh, I should do this. I'm like, no, I actually should do what I say I've been.
What type of book? Like, what type of genre are you most interested in? Fantasy type stuff? Have you ever heard of Royal Road?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You know, it's sad. It's probably, I know it's like, if you're trying to write, you need to read all the time, but I don't read much.
Yeah, you do. It is highly advised anyway.
Yeah. I still read sometimes, but not a lot.
Well, I mentioned Royal Road to you because it's a website, and independent writers will go there and they'll post their stories up, and people will maybe give them feedback or have discussions about them or whatever. And we've actually picked up several novels from Royal Road that we work on in our audiobook production. But it might be a place you could kind of get started out.
I mean, it's me. It's all about self-discipline. Like, I have a great story.
Yeah.
I think it's a great story, and I have the outline done, and it's just writing it out. And I'm just
that's the hard part.
Putting off to the next day. I'm at the point now where I'm like, when I beat this video game, I'm almost done.
This is what you should do. You should carve out like 10 or 15 minutes a day just to write, just a little tiny bit.
Have you ever heard of the Pomodoro technique?
The what?
That sounds familiar. Yes. Is that the 25 minutes or 20 minutes?
It is, yeah. 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You set a timer for 20 minutes. You basically take it in small chunks.
Mm-hmm.
And so for 20 minutes, you're going to do some writing. And then if
I
you still
used-
feel like doing it, you stay another 20 minutes, do some more.
Mm-hmm.
But it means like it gets you into the habit of always doing little chunks at least.
I used to write a lot. I used to be real good when I was young. I was like, I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to make it. So even from like 17 or 18, there was a period I was writing almost every day, and I churned out a lot of stuff. But it was I was trying to write screenplays and comic books, which, you got to collaborate. And I just didn't have the collaboration ability.
I could suggest a freelancer place.
Well, I have my whole plan. It's like I can write this book, and then when I write the book, I could do like what Sin is saying. There's options like Royal Road, get it out there, find people to just get people to read it. But you got to have the product before you can.
There's a streamer on Twitch called LL McRae, and she does a weekly series called Manuscript Monday, where she just goes over. She's specifically a fantasy writer. So she just goes over all the stuff that goes into her job of doing that, whether it's self-discipline, whether it's structure and story, characters, whatever. So you could probably check it out.
That's on Twitch?
Yeah.
Okay. There's also an author on YouTube. His name is Michael Laron. I had him on my channel. I interviewed him. He was the author I did my very first audiobook for. And his whole channel revolves around writing. And I think once a month, he has like this not collaboration, but like a time when everybody gets on lives. He live streams and people join the live stream. I don't know if they directly join to talk, but like they watch the live stream, and it's called Power Half Hour or Writing Power Half Hour or something like that. And people just join to write. Have you ever also thought about joining NaNoWriMo or anything like that?
I don't know about anything.
Oh, you don't? I guess I just assumed because you're into writing, maybe you would like NaNoWriMo is like, I think they do it every October. And
for me, it's about writing. Like I always tell myself, once I'm writing, I'll get into that. But it feels like I feel wrong to be like getting into writing clubs and stuff and not be writing every day. So I'm kind of like, once I'm writing every day, yeah, and weed. Definitely. Weed's my love. Mary Jane.
Wait, hold on. I missed that. Oh my gosh.
So I need to write. Maybe this year.
That's why I think if you just do it in little tiny chunks, like Simon was saying.
Well, I used to. I know I have the capability because
getting back into it can be challenging.
Well, I would tell myself, 1 page a day is 360 pages a year. Like, it's not. That's almost. I mean, it's
1 page a day is actually a lot.
Yeah, but I would write
amount of words a day.
That's what I'm saying. I would write 1 page a day every day almost back in the day. 18, 19, 20, 21, and then it just kind of like it didn't go anywhere, and I got disheartened. And then since then, I've written some, but not a lot, and it's just kind of getting mature and doing it.
Yeah, it does take discipline.
It takes a lot of
and time, and revisions are a pain. Getting the first draft down, and then revisions yeah.
So far, I've finished 2 scripts, and usually the revision is the longer one because then you have to you kind of have more ideas you could add to something, and then fixing stuff, and then
you start to doubt your story, and it needs something more. It should be better.
I wouldn't say I would doubt it, but whether or not it makes sense, does it make any sense at all with what's going on in a story?
Yeah, it's challenging for sure.
The only revision that I'm doing differently is my manga, where I actually wrote the whole thing. I'm just going back and writing bad concept designs and just changing the script to make it fit better.
You talking about the one that you're having the girl from Fiverr draw you the pictures for?
Yeah, like I'm doing that a little differently than,
Mhm.
let's say, a novel. I draw the concept and then I look at what I wrote originally. And, I look back at it, it's like, man, that's kind of cringy. So I have to make it a little
Your
bit.
original concept art. It's is that what you're
Well,
talking
okay, but you know what? I've actually been trying to take the time with these latest concepts to kind of draw a little bit better. So it's giving me some practice.
about? Well, the artist does a good job taking what you see and turning it into something.
Like little circle hits.
Yeah, right, and stick figures.
But no, like for a manga or a comic, I could say that's probably an easy way to do it. Draw a bad concept design.
I did a lot of that. Actually, when I say I want to write, my ultimate goal, if I could just do anything, what I would love to do is storyboard, which is writing visually. Like I love to not just write a story, but picture framing and scale of how that story is told. So that's how I used to write screenplays and my graphic novels. I would storyboard every shot of the graphic novel as well as I would storyboard because to me, that's part of the storytelling is what's the angle and the scale and the flow of information told visually. And I just never had people to talk with about this. So I was so excited where...
You know what? You need to make a channel dedicated to how you made your first book, and you could show all these concepts you had back then.
Did you take storyboarding classes?
No, I just do it in my because when I wanted to make movies, that's ultimately what I would love to do is write and direct movies, and that's what I realized. That's what I realized is I want to write, direct, edit at the very least those three things. Probably soundtrack it is what not write the sound but coordinate edit sound and so when I would write screenplays, essentially I would write the number 1 dash and then describe everything that happens in the first shot, like all the information you need for the first shot of the movie, what the camera's doing, what the camera sees, and then 2 dash and write everything that happens in the second shot, and then do that about 1,000 times, and then you have a screenplay for a movie where I wrote, directed, and edited the whole movie. And I did it like 3 or 4 times. And I know I can make it, but it's all about the collaboration. It's like I wrote this shit, and then it's like I go to LA and I'm like, I got stuff for people to read, and they're like, everyone has stuff. Everyone has stuff to read. And I'm like,
yeah,
it's really hard. And then finally someone reads it, and it's just some idiot that doesn't really pay attention. It's like, yep. And it's like, God damn, I don't want to do all this work and then just get ignored. So it really disheartened me to where it's like, man, if I had the connections, I would make this shit happen. But it sucks to put all this time and effort into something, and then you're like, okay, who wants to see this? And then it's like, nobody.
All right.
So
start a Kickstarter and
do
a Kickstarter and post your full address on it. So if you let anyone down, they'll come and beat you up. That's your motivation.
Well, Colin, what you could do, start off small, like on YouTube.
No, if I can write a novel and the novel's good enough, we'll, take it from there. But it's all about, it all just goes back to the novel. Just write a novel.
I would maybe you could get people to do an audio
to publish,
like an audio drama version of it and put it on YouTube.
I just rather write it. That just sounds harder, more work. I don't know.
Well, it's much easier to publish now than it used to be because you can do it on your own.
Right. Yeah. It really is. It's just as simple as just put in the time and get it done. And I'm not doing that. But
I used to just improv most of the time, and now with that Toy War project, 90% of it is, well, not 90, but okay, let's say maybe 80% of it. Some of it's like a bit of improv because either I wrote the script in a specific way, but then I kind of semi-forgot a specific way of how I wanted to shoot, so I had to change it up a bit, or maybe I had to fix something that doesn't make any sense. So some of it's kind of just improv, which, to be honest, that's not a bad way to create something either.
Yeah, I think that's how Stephen King writes. He's a pantser.
Mm-hmm.
Can be kind of different. A pantser, yeah. It's like someone who writes by the what's the
Seat of their
expression?
pants?
The seat of their pants, yeah.
Oh.
And then Dean Koontz is a plotter. He's a very meticulous plotter.
Cool.
It's generally easier to be a plotter because that way you can make sure you tie up loopholes or like plot holes and stuff like that, and you have it all planned out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stephen King, he's oh my gosh. All right. I know. I have an hour left before I have to my pumpkin my coach turns into a pumpkin and I lose my grass clippers because I have to take it.
I'm actually glad to hear that Stephen King is a pantser because I didn't know that. But it's great to know he didn't plan out the kids and having an orgy in the sewers.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go somewhere. I knew you were going to go somewhere with that.
I was going to go back to the televisions of this year.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to start talking about
my favorite show ever. Well, besides Cowboy Bebop, my favorite comedy ever, second favorite show ever. After Cowboy Bebop. Arrested Development!
Oh, that's Jason Bateman. Is he in that?
Yeah, he's the lead. Have any of you guys watched it?
I haven't seen it. No, I never watched it.
Oh, man.
Wow, it was on for a long time.
No, it was on 3 seasons, and then it stopped, and then they brought it back on Netflix like 10 years later for 2 more seasons. And the Netflix seasons are not nearly as good. It almost tainted it, the legacy. The first 3 seasons that aired on Fox in like 03, 04, 05, those are like the pinnacle and the gold standard of comedy on television. I'll fight anyone.
I know it's very popular. I just never watched it because it's like comedy and
it's the gold standard though. It is the best, and I watched every comedy show. I mean, maybe not every, but comedy TV is like if I'm not good at that, I'm not good at anything. That's what I do. That's why I don't write books, because I'm watching comedy shows. So I know about comedy shows, and Arrested Development is the gold standard, at least the first 3 seasons. And it's really just so funny. And the best thing is that it's really kind of feel good. It's really kind of light, and it's sunny and happy music and kind of fast flowing, lots of different locations in LA. And that kind of gives it a sense too, along with really clever writing and non-stop pace of jokes. Just that it's a real happy show, but it's so funny. I don't want to say the characters are so it's a bunch of spoiled rich people that basically is the plot. The Blues, they're a family. Jason Bateman's kind of the only sane one. The rest are all spoiled rich people. And it's the writing is really, really good. It's just so funny. It's one of those, they're like, how do they come up with these jokes? Like, it's awesome.
Does it have a sitcom feel, or like is it filmed in front of an audience or something?
No laugh track. I mean, there's too many jokes for there's no time for a laugh track. It's just joke after joke, and it's so funny. And I mean, David Cross as Tobias, all-time great performance. Will Arnett as Job, it really launched his career. Will Arnett, now he's everywhere now, but this was the show that made him. He's probably the funniest dude on the show. It's either him and David Cross but everyone's funny. And I mean, this is probably the most quoted show between me and my friends. There's so many quotable moments on this show. Yeah, it's all time. After Cowboy Bebop, I mean, it's my all-time favorite comedy. So I have to give it a shout out. Gotta give it props.
Okay. I didn't realize it was that old too.
Someone said Mythbusters.
Oh,
I watched a fair amount of Mythbusters. That was a fun show.
Didn't you say there was something that started this year, Arturo? You mentioned it before No, there was another one, but you mentioned it before we even started the live stream. It was some big show. Crap.
That's So Raven?
No. No. I thought it was.
Did it start this year?
It did. Yeah.
I don't know if it did or not. All right, I'm going to scroll through the show. And
I was going to say Teen Titans, it started this year, and I remember that was it's funny. So back then I wasn't really all into it, but
Full Metal Alchemist, Arturo.
Oh yeah, Full Metal Alchemist. That's
Star Wars,
one of my favorite anime.
Clone Wars. Shoot.
Oh, the anime.
Jimmy Kimmel started in 2003.
his show, his late night show.
And so did Real Time with Bill Maher.
That's the one.
watch Real Time.
Bill Maher. That's the one.
I actually got to
That's
see
the
him
one he
live.
mentioned. Who,
I
Bill
got to
Maher?
see him live with my dad. My dad visited me in LA when I was living there, and we went and saw Bill. It was free, you know. So we went and saw Bill Maher. I still watch him sometimes.
Do you remember who the guests that were on? You were there?
It was nobody I knew.
Oh, okay.
Challenge Showdown.
I like Bill Maher. He can be a little smug about stuff, but ultimately I like him. I agree with him on more often than not, and he's pretty funny. You know, I don't agree with him on everything. It is, you know, stuff when stuff gets political, it's like I want to get involved in the argument, and then afterwards I realize I'd rather just not get involved at all. It's like when I'm watching people talk and I can't talk, I'm like, I would say this, and then later I'm like,
yeah.
probably better to just ignore politics and watch comedy. You know?
It's in a lot of ways. Oh, True Calling started this year. I actually really like that show.
Sonic X started this year.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Rugrats All Grown Up. My Gym Partner's a Monkey. I remember that. But you know, the one show that I was so obsessed with for pretty much Code Lyoko. I was so obsessed.
Yes, I remember
that show.
How was this when you were a little kid?
Yes, like this was like
you used to play the song all the time.
Anime, like obsession, I guess you could say. Like Code Lyoko was my anime for a while.
Sort of your venture into anime.
Until I found out anime, and then
you found real anime.
I just switched, but lately I've been looking back at that show. It's like, you know, for an early 2000 show, it's actually pretty decent.
Wasn't it a French?
It was a French. Yeah, it was a French cartoon.
The Venture
Bros. The voice acting was
Venture Bros was funny. It was like an Adult Swim. It was kind of a parody on. I never saw Johnny Quest, but it was kind of a parody on, I guess, action, spy, whatever. But it was pretty funny. I watched it when it was on a little bit, and I kind of forgot about it.
I was looking for Code Lyoko.
Yeah, it's
must be way down on the list.
Yeah, that was like my main thing. Like from I think that year it started to all the way until 2007, and that's when I like.
Oh, and yes, Chappelle's Show was really. Have you ever watched Chappelle's Show, Sam?
That's 2003, right? This year? Yes, I thought I saw it in the list. No, wait. That's the one where he does these little comedy skits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen. Well, I didn't watch it, but I've seen pieces, like bits and pieces of it. Like my brothers would send me stuff, like the one where he was like a white supremacist.
Yeah,
a blind white supremacist.
Wait, is that the? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a really funny show. I didn't watch it when it was on because it felt like I couldn't relate at all to like racial humor. I was just like I didn't really. No, I felt like
the Black experience, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I couldn't relate, and I didn't want to try to force it or be like, I get it, you guys, because it was popular. So I didn't really watch it. But then when I finally got into it, like later on, it's really fun.
Yeah, he played.
I just remember that one thing that you guys showed about him being blind and being a white supremacist.
Yeah, he was blind.
That one was funny.
What do the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap! I think that was
Punked started in 2003.
Wait, what did?
Punked. That's the one where they played the joke on people like
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher, whatever his name is. That's the one where he played. Archer, did you see the one where they played a joke on Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, that's the show you're talking about.
That's the show, Punked. Yeah.
Have you heard of Full Metal Panic?
I have heard of Full Metal Panic, but I never have seen it.
It's an anime. I haven't seen it myself. I was kind of interested to watch it, but that started this year.
Oh, you pointed out also that Wolf's Rain had started. Yeah, we're getting into anime territory.
Yeah, Wolf's Rain. I would really like to see that movie. Or not movie,
it's a show. I started watching it because Crispin.
Yeah, Crispin Freeman. There was a
Prisman,
few
yeah.
animes that started this year.
But I never got into. Oh, Dog the Bounty Hunter started in 2003.
Oh, Scrap Princess started this year. That's the only. That's like okay. That and Full Metal Alchemist were the only animes that I got my granddad to watch from beginning to end.
Oh gosh, that's right. He did watch that.
He
With
watched
you.
Scrap Princess and he watched Full Metal Alchemist.
The stuff he endures to
Oh.
make you happy.
But he enjoyed those though.
I saw a show that I actually really liked when it aired, and me and my friends used to smoke weed and watch this. We all loved Jackass, teenagers. We watched the movies, and Wild Boys was maybe even better than Jackass.
It was the same type of thing.
Well, it was two of the dudes from Jackass, Chris Pontius and Steve-O, and they went around the world and interacted with animals. And
Oh Lord.
it was
Oh gosh.
really funny and just fun to see what they'd get up to. And in a way, it was, living vicariously through these two, like, crazy party animals going around the world, having fun, checking out animals. There's something really fun about that show. That Wild Boys, that in some ways it was more fun to watch than Jackass. I remember me and my friends would it was like a ritual, get high and watch Jackass and Wild Boys. And it was fond memories. And like when I was rewatching the Jackass Forever movie, it reminded me of Wild Boys. And I was like, man, that was cool back in Wild Boys. And so I just saw that. It was fun. I mean, it's like they messed with all sorts of animals. And they never like messed with them, like hurt them. I don't think. Maybe.
Did the animals hurt them?
Yeah, I think probably.
That's kind of what I feel like we have it.
Oh yeah. That yes.
What?
That's So Raven did start this year.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Scare Tactics also.
That
started.
was actually a pretty funny. That was a pretty funny show. That's So Raven.
I actually do quote that line of hers because I
Wait,
like
what?
it.
Which
Oh
one?
snap!
Oh,
snap.
Oh yeah. Oh,
well, that's not her
snap.
line. That's just if it's her line. I didn't know that was her line. I thought
that was something that started on the show.
That was the one show I
I never knew
actually thought left more of an impact than anything.
That's
maybe
So
they
Raven.
did start on that show, and I just never knew that. I was like, everyone's.
That was the
saying,
first
"Oh,
time I
snap."
ever heard it. Yeah, oh
Yeah.
snap! She's the old snap. So I thought it was something that her character came up with.
like she would have visions of the future.
Yeah, she was like psychic or something.
She was funny.
Yeah, the little bit I saw of it was funny. I had never heard
So-
of. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, so everyone's got that TV show that's been cancelled, and they're pissed it was cancelled.
Mhm.
For me, it's one that came out in 2003. It's called Carnival. It was an HBO show
I remember
starring.
watching- Yeah.
It was really good. It stars Nick Stahl, Clancy
Mhm.
Brown. They're the two main characters, but it's also got people like Adrienne Barbeau and
Your icon is from your favorite. I just now got it. It's from Carnival, your favorite
No,
show
that's
of the
that's
year.
from that's
I know,
not
it's
from
from
Carnival.
TV.
That's from
Yeah.
No,
But yeah,
yeah,
it's set in the Dust Bowl. It's a sort of supernatural mystery based
Is it like
in a carnival.
Yeah, in a carnival, is it like freak show people?
Yeah, it was
Right,
planned
so-
out as like 3 sort of books, 3 chapters, each having 2 seasons. But it was cancelled after the first one. So the first
Oh.
season is sort of very slow and very it's just kind of slow, but it's very intriguing. And the second season is just like it runs at a cheetah's pace, but it's really, really good.
So it only lasted 2 seasons.
2
got
seasons.
the
Yeah.
resolution. Damn.
Hmm.
It
Did
did
it
have
end
a
on-
resolution of sorts, but
Didn't on a cliffhanger.
sort of, yeah. No, not so much. I wouldn't call it a cliffhanger. It ended where it's open for more story, but there was a conclusion to it.
Hmm.
So it's at least semi-satisfying.
Oh,
I remember seeing
But
that
it's basically
mentioned. Yeah.
it's basically about the second coming of. It's kind of like the second coming of Christ and the Antichrist battling it out.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Never really knew what the premise was. It just looked like something that was kind of odd.
Didn't
Yeah.
that show with the girl that travels back in time after the person has died, and they touch her.
Yeah, I mentioned it already. True
Oh,
Calling.
you did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have to watch Mighty Boosh. Matt Berry, I'm just reading about it here. And Matt Berry's a regular supporter. Matt Berry's so funny. Might have to check it out. That's one I've overlooked probably a decent amount of UK comedy. So I say as a big comedy fan, I should check it out.
I prefer Peep Show, which also started this year.
Peep Show. Someone did you see that wasn't one of the shows you showed me the other time? Because
it was, yeah.
It was? Okay.
Mm-hmm. You didn't like it.
I didn't like it because it made me sad.
Oh.
You didn't like the characters.
Yeah, the characters bummed me out. Yeah.
Why?
And to be fair, I mean, it happens a lot. Like my favorite show ever, one of my all-time favorite shows, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I didn't like them at first. It took me a while. But sometimes something will make you keep watching.
I was going to ask if you liked Always Sunny.
Oh, I love it.
Based on the way you were talking about Arrested Development, it made me think that maybe you'd like.
It's a top 5. Top 5. Yeah.
Yeah, the characters in British comedy are always pretty pathetic. There's Stephen Fry actually said the difference between American comedy and British comedy is that the British like to find humor in being set upon. You know, if there's that scene in Animal House where John Belushi grabs the guitar and smashes it against the wall. Well, that's the American comic, whereas the British comic wants to be the guy holding the guitar.
You mean playing the guitar? Or? I don't get it.
Have you seen that scene in Animal House?
I know what you're talking about. I don't really remember. Yeah.
I think you mentioned this before.
John Belushi
takes the guitar. What does
grabs
he do
the guitar. Somebody's playing a gutar in a party, and John Belushi grabs the guitar and just smashes it against the wall and hands it back to him.
That's right. The British comic.
Well, the American comic want to play John Belushi, whereas the British comic wants to be the guy playing the guitar.
A guitar player.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely so weird how similar but different the two cultures.
Penn and Teller Bullshit started in 2003.
Oh, did it really?
I like them.
I've seen an episode or two of that.
Just a couple. I didn't watch a lot.
Oh yeah, I see that. Okay, it lasted for like 7 seasons.
Now, how would we rate this year?
I don't feel like I'd rate it as high as I did some of the earlier years of 2000.
I mean, don't get me wrong. This had pretty good films that came out, including shows too.
But I didn't feel like, for me, I didn't feel like there were more shows than I could talk about, like I did in one of the other years. What was it? 2001,
2002, and 1.
Yeah. So I don't feel that way about 2003. Yeah, I love shows from the UK. I subscribe to Acorn TV and also Topic, and they specialize in shows either from Australia or the UK or Scotland or Ireland, other countries in Europe. I just feel like the acting in a lot of them is so much better than the acting here. Plus, I guess the premise I like a little bit more. A lot of them are about mysteries and things like that, which I enjoy.
Yeah,
overall this year, and including TV, I never included TV before, and that's hard because Arrested Development's like one month. And it feels weird because I'm almost like, man, when am I ever going to give a year like a 3 or a 4? That'd be for like the 50s and the 60s. These get like high scores, but then it's like, yeah, but if I rated like 1942, that'd probably, maybe not, maybe that's specific. But, in general, some year from the 40s is like a 3. Compared to all these years, on the scale of cinema, I think the 2000s were above average, even more so than the 2010s. So,
I felt like the 2010s were average, and the 2000s was actually still going strong, but slowly creeping up to the average point, kind of near the
average-ish.
Yeah.
Of the way films are now.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm torn between a 7 or 8.
I think
I want to give an 8 to everything, but when I'm thinking of like, I don't Kill Bill Matrix Reloaded, Pirates, Return of the King, Ong Bak. There's some good ones. Maybe 7 is as low as I could go.
Or 7.5. You could compromise.
No.
I might go with the 7.
I'll go with the 7.
What were you going to say?
It would be a 4-star out of 5.
Yeah, that's still solid.
We can't forget about the shows.
Compared to the years directly around it, it seems lower. Like 02, 01, 04, 05. Compared to the decades around it, it's like high.
Like I think 2002 had a little bit more of a stretch than this one, but then again, this one had some pretty decent films like Underworld.
And I have to say, I wanted to love Underworld. It's the type of movie I feel like I would love, like almost like Ultraviolet, where like in another world I could be watching that in slow motion.
Oh, it's so much better than Ultraviolet.
I know, and I can't like justify why I love Ultraviolet and not Underworld, because in a lot of ways they're similar. Maybe in certain way, they're very stylistic action movies with a female lead. But honestly, it's something about that blue-black overlay that it's not just Underworld. It's most movies that have too much of a color scheme. It kind of takes me out of the realism. It's like it reminds me it's a movie, which maybe can work for something more arty.
I like the color palette of Underworld a lot. That really appeals to me.
It's just like a personal taste. I think what really gets me though, and maybe it's not the color scheme. I think it's the CG. I'm really critical of CG, and I would like it a lot more.
That was, it would be cool is if they could go back and maybe fix some of the CG issues, because that was almost 20 years ago. Certainly CGI has evolved. It's so much better now than it was. I wish they'd go back and fix Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Real prosthetics, if like they made that in the 80s. No, not in the 80s. But I just CG. It's like they got lazy with it, and I want them.
They did in a lot of ways.
You get very bored. You start staring out windows.
Yeah, that's true. They depend on it sometimes too much. I think we interrupted Simon a while back. What were you going to say, Simon?
I was just going to say I think the decline of entertainment in the 2000s is really down to the internet. For 2 reasons. First of all, it split people's attention. Yeah. And the second, data collection. Yeah. So the producers were trying to get the numbers back up to what they were in the 90s. And they did that by looking at the data. So that's why you got these very sort of average movies that tried to appeal to everyone.
Average, yes. That's a good point. The internet's changed everything.
Yeah, it has. It really has.
Worst way. Not always. Some ways much cooler.
It's almost like it's almost like we have too many options to choose from. We don't know where to begin. That's honestly how I feel when I'm trying to decide. What's that?
Paralysis of choice.
Yeah. I really do. Sometimes I'm like, well, I want to see something, but what do I want to see? And which platform do I want to see it on? Because there's all these different places you can go. And even if it's not even a paid place, there's so many free choices that you can do. It's like it's an overabundance. And make it difficult.
I want to take a year off from the internet. Like if I didn't have to use it for my work, because it's just I miss looking forward to getting to see something that I wanted to see instead of 24/7. What do you want to see? It's there. It is that it's overload. Like it was. I like the 90s.
Yeah. Nostalgia. I know.
It's too much. I think it is too much. We're just apes that talk. Like there's nothing in our biology that's prepared us for everything everyone knows on hand all the time. We're not. Our brains aren't supposed to have this in our daily life. Like biologically, it's totally fucked up. Psychologically, so maybe take a break from the internet if I can.
Yeah, I depend on the internet.
I know we all do.
For my job, obviously.
I am the internet.
Yeah. But I also like the convenience of being able to easily keep in touch with people. That to me, that's one of the biggest factors. This is one of the big reasons why while I have stepped back from some of the social media, like I'm not really super active on my personal account on Facebook, not very active there like I used to be. I think what happened was Well, when Dora died, I got really sad about that. And then I just kind of lost interest in interacting with idiots online. And so I just kind of stepped back, and I would only like post like
I feel like you would find more idiots on Twitter.
There are a lot of idiots on Twitter, but I am a little more active on Twitter because of like different movie people that I follow, and Dee's on there, you know, and I'm on Instagram, but I prefer YouTube the most.
Oh, Mark Hamill. I'm very jealous.
What?
Yeah,
Mark Hamill.
Cool.
Like, I'm very jealous.
That was a complete shock, you guys. I've had Robert Patrick like 2 of my things, and that was like, I like that, Robert Patrick. And then the Mark Hamill one was like, whoa, I knew he'd been tagged. I knew Mike Flanagan had tagged him in his post, but I never thought that he would like read the comments on there and respond in any way. And I just went there and looked at my notifications. Mark Hamill liked your whatever. I was like, Arturo was in the room with me, and I just started laughing out loud.
Yeah.
It's like, what? So I thought that was kind of.
He seems really cool too.
Sometimes he's an idiot, Colin, but I still like him. I have a soft spot for him. I think it's because really Joker and Luke Skywalker.
Luke, Joker. He's a really good voice actor.
He's so talented with voice acting. I mean, very talented. His range is amazing. Yeah, he's a better voice actor than he is an actor.
I believe
Even though voice actors, you're still acting, but it's something. I think there's something about the freedom that comes from not being in front of a camera, but behind a microphone. And you have to get really, like, if you want to be really convincing, you get very physical in your work as a voice actor. And he seems to just really let go.
Yeah.
When he does voice acting work. And it is really good.
Yeah. He also has the best death scene ever committed to film.
Which one?
Yeah. It's from a movie called The Guyver, which is based on anime. I'll post it in the Discord.
Well, I never heard of that.
Wait. Is that the live action version of an anime, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard
about
that.
What year?
Like the 90s.
Oh, God.
I remember
before, after Star Wars?
91.
Okay.
Must have been an anime from the 80s.
So was it a movie or a show?
It was a movie. It was like an adaptation of the anime.
Now, when you say best death scene, are you being facetious?
I am, yep.
Okay.
Funniest death scene.
Okay. I had a feeling.
Mark Hamill actually was in one anime.
As a voice actor?
Yeah.
What
and
anime?
I actually didn't even know it was him.
See, I'm telling you, I listened to World War Z, and he was a character voice in World War Z, and I did not know that was him.
It was an original Toonami anime back in 2005, IGPX.
Oh, I remember. That's the one about the robot.
Like they're riding on these robots. It's like a racing thing. Yeah, and he played this one of these like tough guys, but yeah, I didn't even know it was him. And now when I like listened like real close, it's like, okay, I can tell what he's doing, but still the first time I didn't even know that was him.
I remember him telling the story of when I think he was on his way to audition as Joker or on his way back.
Oh yeah, how did I laugh? He's like, how did I laugh?
Well, he was talking about how he's driving in traffic in LA, and he's like going through his Joker laugh and trying to perfect the sound and everything while he's driving. And he says something about how like he just can't imagine the people in the traffic around him maybe looking at him wondering what the hell was wrong with him.
Like,
yeah, because it was funny.
Practicing your Joker laugh.
Joker laugh. Oh my gosh.
Batsy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, like one Joker laugh would be weird, but 3 different ones would be unsettling. Like back to back, like.
But you know, he even played. He played 2 characters in Justice League. You know, Joker, and then he played. What was that? What's that one character? He's like. Guess you could say he would have like that sort of shape like the Hawk. His skin's all like gray. I forgot what the character's called. I think he's a Batman villain.
A Croc?
Yeah, Croc. He did Croc.
Oh, he did?
He did Joker and he did Croc. Yeah, in Justice League.
And he didn't do Croc in the Batman animated series. But he did him in the
not
Justice
sure
League.
he might. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not sure. I just know in Justice League he did those characters. I mean, obviously Joker, but
This
I didn't
movie,
know he was.
I'm totally changing the subject, but I wanted to mention it to you before I forgot, Arturo. This seems like a movie you'd probably like. The Big Red One. It's a war movie.
The Big Red. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you'd probably. It's a 1980 film, but it looks like something you would probably enjoy.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That I guess it's like an infantry division.
Something like that.
They were under patent for a bit. Now, any suggestions for 2004?
I just pulled up like 10 seconds ago. I was like, I'm gonna look up some movies. So I know I have at least one or two because I feel like there's a lot.
Oh wow, there's so many.
Collateral,
Wait,
I definitely want to watch.
You know, Monster shows up in 2003, but it's also shown up in 2004 again. They do that. That's frustrating. Wait, they also show Girl with a Pearl Earring, but that's also a 2003. Oh, that gets so confusing.
Dang, nail it.
I'm looking for films of 2004. Do you guys have any suggestions?
I think I gotta go Kung Fu Hustle. Except I don't know if that's easy to watch. Maybe I should find a different one.
Arturo, it might have been Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy's not Croc.
Okay.
So change the subject. I think it might be.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Whoa,
The Big
really?
Red One. Oh yeah, he got in a car wreck, which is why. Yeah. So it was
he's in that movie?
Yeah, that's what he was saying earlier. I had the comment up. I remember he got in a movie between Star Wars, the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back. He got in a really bad car wreck, got all scarred up on his face, and that's why they wrote that scene in the Empire Strikes Back.
Wait, which part in the movie?
In the Empire Strikes Back, at the very beginning, when he's attacked by that creature, Wampa, and he gets scratched on the face. Well, that's how they were able to incorporate his real life scars.
He denies that, though.
He denies that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Apparently it was written before. No, apparently it was written before.
Before, okay. Maybe that's an urban legend then.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out well. So,
in the end, it's a win-win.
Okay.
Collateral.
Oh yeah, Collateral. For sure.
That's a good movie.
I will not mind rewatching that film.
Because it's got ready, steady, go. Dun,
no,
dun,
because
dun,
it's
dun,
a really, really good movie.
Yeah, I do. It looks, from what I've seen, it looks really good.
It is extremely good. That used to be my favorite Tom Cruise film.
What is it now?
Oblivion.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Downfall.
I couldn't make it through that movie.
Oblivion?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit slow, I know, but there's something about it that really appealed to me. It
just felt like a pastiche of all different, better sci-fi movies to me.
Maybe. But it worked for me. Maybe if I rewatch, and I watched it many times. Maybe if I rewatched it, I would change my mind.
Downfall?
That's the Hitler movie,
the
right?
Very famous meme thing that.
Oh yeah, right. I've heard
that.
Hitler
gets mad at Bunker over something.
Man, there's so many good. I really think Kung Fu Hustle is gotta be the top pick for recommend.
Oh wow, 2000.
Phantom of the Opera.
For me,
The Notebook.
One of my favorite movies of all time, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
The Spotless Mind. Is that's 2004? Yeah. Wow.
It is.
That's a real.
I still haven't seen that.
Yeah. There's one movie here.
You haven't? Oh, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic. Yeah, it's a classic.
I know I've heard, and I think that one of the reasons I stay away from it is because it's romance based. And so I just
Me too. I watched it
not
once,
really
and
interested.
it's really well done.
I have heard.
It's not.
Think of it more of a sci-fi.
Yeah, I've heard it's
It is
sci-fi as well.
I can't watch it more than once myself. Yeah.
Oh, Shudder.
What?
Oh, is this a Japanese movie?
So I'm trying to find Kung Fu Hustle.
Have you ever heard of Shudder?
I think you might see. I don't know. I think the only way you could watch that is to pay to rent it.
No, I mean I'm trying to find it on the list of 2004.
Oh, it's on IMDb.
That's not showing
it's a
up on
Thailand
Wikipedia.
movie.
That's confusing. Maybe I'm on the wrong page.
There's one movie here that I watched bits of, but I actually never finished it. It's Passion of the Christ.
I thought you watched the whole thing of that.
No, I only watched bits of it. Like I was watching with your parents.
Yeah, I thought you like watched it for like.
The last part was whenever they were walking him in the street to be crucified.
Are you on IMDb for 2004?
No, I'm on Wikipedia 2004 in film, which is like the where we usually go.
Okay, I was on IMDb.
For whatever reason, it's not showing up. Let me do a search.
2004 was the year Mel Gibson started hating the Jews.
Yeah, was that the year
that we
Well, that's when he did Passion of the Christ. And
no, it's the year that we found out about it.
Now it's showing up as 2004 when I do an internet search.
Okay, I think Kung Fu Hustle. It's one of the best. It's just so memorable. It's really funny and really cool action.
Oh, is this another Denzel Washington, the Manchurian Candidate?
Manchurian Candidate, yeah. And also Man on Fire. Wow, he had 2 movies that year.
Yeah, Man on Fire is better.
And then the year after that, I think 2005 was Deja Vu, which is my very favorite Denzel.
The Alamo.
And there's a lot of films for
The
this
Alamo. You I haven't even seen that all the way. The Punisher. Spider-Man 2.
And have you ever seen The Aviator?
I have not.
Yeah.
Do you have any desire to see it?
No, that's why I never saw it. But I heard it's good. But it just the subject matter of him and his torture.
Oh my gosh, there is
life.
It's not really about that.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, Howard Hughes is one of the most interesting humans, and the whole early part of his life was fucking awesome. And then as an older man, he got hooked on painkillers and became a weird recluse.
He was also OCD.
Yeah, but not, and it's not like a big deal though.
I thought that was like a big
it
part
kind of was. Yeah, actually they did play it up, but it's more just like he was eccentric, but he was so awesome. And the movie touches on some of the weirdness that happens later. Like there's glimpses of it, maybe 10, 15 minutes of a 2.5-hour movie. But it's really about what an epically crazy, awesome life Howard Hughes lived. And that's why I think that movie's so cool.
I know that I think did he win an award for that?
I don't think so.
Was he nominated? I thought he was nominated. I remember he made waves for his appearance. Part of the reason also I stayed away is because Leo DiCaprio just doesn't do a whole lot for me as an actor. Plus the subject matter seemed quite depressing to me, so I just
I don't think
stayed
it's
away.
I
heard it was really good.
It's
not depressing at all. It's exciting and fun. I mean, he's making movies, he's flying planes, he's living the high life, and then some people are probably more affected by like his OCD shit. Maybe it got talked up more that it was sad, and there's glimpses.
I've seen documentaries about him, and it was pretty bad.
Yeah, but that all started in like his later 50s, 60s, 70s. Like in his 20s, 30s, 40s, he was the man. Like he ran Hollywood. He made the biggest movies. He test flew fighter jets, like airplanes. He was like living large. He was like, we're gonna make this movie full of planes, and I'm taking the camera up with me, and I'm getting all these shots. And he was dating all the most beautiful women.
Yeah,
the richest dude. What happened was he crashed. He had a number of crashes. One was really bad. He should have died. He really fucked himself up. It's in the movie. And then he gets hooked on painkillers, and then because he was so rich and eccentric, and he got hooked almost like he needed the drugs because he had so much pain from this crash. That led to him becoming a weird recluse in his like late 50s, 60s, 70s. And that's so he's almost known for, some people only know that he was a creepy recluse in his old days, but he was also, and also at that point, he was the richest man in the country, one of the richest men of all time. Like, he would sit up in his hotel and watch ABC, and he didn't like the commercials. So he was like, I'm going to buy ABC and make them play what I want. And they're like, Howard, you can't. He's like, yes, I can. I can afford it. Like, Howard, you can't just buy ABC. And like, he was that rich and like didn't give a fuck about the rules. And like, when he was younger, he did whatever he wanted. And it was just make big movies, date beautiful women, fly planes. And he was the man.
Didn't he work on that movie, the movie with John Wayne, that they filmed in a place where they had done nuclear testing, and a lot of the people that worked on it ended up getting sick and dying from,
I was in
you know,
St. George,
eventually
Utah.
from.
I'm not familiar with that.
Was
I remember the name of it.
was that the? It wasn't the Genghis Khan movie, was it?
I think John Wayne was like 40s and 50s.
Yeah, but he was also in the 60s and 70s. I mean, John Wayne was all the way up into the 70s.
Hughes was kind of out of the movie business by probably 40s and 50s. He was maybe just a producer. He wasn't working on set by
Okay,
then.
well, I heard. Yeah, I'm not sure if he directed it or was somehow involved with it. I thought.
He owned a movie studio, so his name got slapped down as producer a lot. But I don't think he was really.
I heard he felt really guilty about his involvement in that movie because it made people so sick, because where they were filming, they didn't realize how dangerous it was.
Probably, but also
it was in St. George, Utah. It was called The Conqueror, directed by Dick Powell, and produced by Howard Hughes.
Was that the one about Genghis Khan? Okay.
Honestly, I know enough about Howard that if he said, I don't think he cared. I don't think he was a sociopath, but he was maybe borderline.
Really?
I don't think he would care that. I'm probably maybe speaking out of turn, but from what I know, he was like, he forgot about people. Like in his older life, like he just was super in his own world, and I feel like
that might have been his OCD.
Yeah, I don't know if he was so cold-blooded as to not give a fuck, but hearing that like he felt bad, I'm like, he probably just said he felt bad. I don't think he felt bad. He was too busy doing his own shit. That's what I understand of his character. I'm not saying he was an admirable character, but he had a one-of-a-kind life. He had really one of the most interesting, exciting lives any human said, like that I've read about. That's why I think that movie is so interesting.
So that was 2004. I kept this up here, The Butterfly Effect. I actually watched that film and enjoyed it. It's different. It's not the best movie ever, but I thought it was pretty good.
There is actually a lot of movies I will have to watch for this year.
You're behind on 2004?
Some of it, but it, goodness.
Have you seen Hotel Rwanda?
I have not, but we have the DVD here somewhere. That looked also depressing, which is why I didn't want to watch it.
It is, but it's also a thriller ride.
Oh, I am looking forward to discussing about.
It'll make your palms sweat.
Yeah.
What's that?
Make your palms sweat.
Oh, okay. You said it so fast I didn't hear you. I don't know the answer to that question. I had always heard it was OCD.
I don't think Asperger's exists. I think that's just something people made up. I don't think autism. Yeah, maybe autism exists, but not as much as. I think those are just catch-all general terms because humans are complicated and essentially people want answers, and a lot of the time doctors don't really have the answer, but no one wants that, so they're like, okay, it's this is what it is. When really it's like, I don't know. It's a little more complex than that. I don't think. Maybe autism in general is a thing, but Asperger's isn't. That's just people talking too much. that's all it is. I don't know. Howard Hughes had OCD. One thing was his mom was his mom was paranoid about germs, and so she raised him like there's germs everywhere. You got to wash and be careful. And so as a kid, he kind of developed like OCD quirks, like gotta wash my hands and just little shit like that because his mom was crazy. So that's what it was. And yeah, he was kind of weirdly, like, he wasn't like a charming. He was always kind of in his own world, from what I understand. Like, not that he was awkward socially, like he was kind of a cool dude, but he was more like, he didn't really care about people that much. He was all about doing his own thing. You know, that's from what I gather. I read a few biographies on him. I was really interested in him. But yeah, no, Asperger's isn't real. If a doctor says that, it's just because he'll probably get fired if he tries to argue that it's not real. I mean, there's this whole kind of like, there's academia on every level that you can't disagree with, and for professional risk.
Yeah, there are certainly some things I don't know how much I really believe, but then I don't invest a whole lot of time to learn more about it. So.
Right. Well, like ADHD is not real. That is not real. That's bullshit. Like, that offends me. Like, autism generally, maybe, like, I don't know. Like, it almost, I don't know, like, when you, like, the dyslexia, Arturo has problem reading. A lot of people have that. And it's almost like...
It's not just, it's not about just reading.
Sometimes I think, dyslexia is also connected to, apparently they say it's connected to ADHD or...
Well, the symptoms are very similar.
Because I tend to get very too like distracted sometimes. Depends where my mind is, but I don't know if that's just that or just my mind just being my mind. I don't know. I know it's connected to being very distracted and you can't really focus.
That's not a problem. I don't think that's any kind of disorder or problem. I mean, that is beneficial throughout most of nature and human existence. Like, you want to have an adaptability to the world around you. That's generally, we don't live inside sterile environments. Throughout, all of our history, we're outside, living outside. No one's ever been able to read. Like, the history of humanity, everyone was illiterate everywhere, always. Even 100 years ago in America, a lot of fucking people are illiterate. Even today, worldwide, a lot of people are illiterate. So the idea that, you can't read good, something's wrong with you. It's like, fuck no. Like, we're monkeys that talk, dude. Like, the printing press didn't come around until a few hundred years ago. Before then, it was so fucking hard to write a book by hand. Reading is new, in a sense, like, for widespread.
For humanity, for humankind, yeah.
Colin, have you ever considered going on Joe Rogan? Because he'd fucking love you.
I know.
But dyslexia, it's about, a lot of people think, it just means a person can't read, or they switch the letter, or they read backwards.
It's a lot more
than that. Yeah, it's something about the way.
Because to be honest, I'm actually pretty slow to respond to something. Like, if you told me, like, Colin, if you told me something real fast, it will take me seconds to process what you just told me. Sometimes one of my managers will say something real fast, and I'm like, what? Because he said it so fast, I didn't know what that, like, I have to process what he meant by that sort of deal.
Are there different types of dyslexia?
Well, dyslexia is kind of like, they have like these different subsets. They have people, so for some people, it's not just based on text issues. For some people, it's based on math and also writing and also direction.
I have a friend with a daughter who has dyslexia, and her thing is that she has trouble with abstract terms. Anything she can picture, like Wonder Woman doll, or
a lot of them,
yeah, like Wonder Woman doll or Terminator picture or Terminator poster. She can picture that, she can write that, but any abstract terms, like, I don't know, depression or anything like that, is something she has a hard time with.
The words here or they, like, words that don't have a image. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, we know somebody that has to do something with clay just to get the point across or something,
Yeah, they like mold an image so that they can actually like use their tactile senses in order to, if they can get an image of this word in their head, then they can understand it more. It's frustrating and fascinating. It's fascinating, and it's a little frustrating too, because there's so many different, like, there's
Arturo, like, isn't there like a severe? Is there? Well,
your doctor described you as a. some people are more severe than others. Like this one girl, she had it so bad, like she couldn't even find her way through a school. She was like a guest speaker, and they had to have someone because they have trouble with the direction. Arturo has trouble with direction. He gets left and right mixed up and not understanding distance.
I understand the left and right.
Yeah,
thing,
you get it. You get it mixed up a lot.
Wait,
And if you try to tell him it's in the top left
well, no, hold on.
He's like, no, wait, you have to go slow.
if it's a really like if it's very, for example, when I'm driving, okay, if it's really quick, like my mind is like rushing real fast. It's like I do get a little bit like my mind it gets a little confused because it's rushing real quick. But
so like basically the brain of a dyslexic is processing so much stuff to try to filter things out because their brain is like doing all this wonky stuff. That's why they have a slower response time about certain things. That's why it's harder for them to read. It can be harder for them to do math. His handwriting is atrocious. So it's just like it's really bad.
Wait, is it still?
Yeah, it's bad. It's
really?
bad.
I thought I was. I mean, I'm kind of a little
better,
lazy
but it's bad.
to write, but no.
But
my friend Matt, he's dyslexic. He's got issues, but he can still. I mean, you can still function. It takes time to get used to it.
Yeah,
so Colin, you really should retract that statement that dyslexia doesn't exist. You don't want to get those letters.
I just want to ask more questions and learn more, but I'm not convinced it does or does not exist.
I mean, in all honesty, Colin, we just give names to specific things.
Yes, that's what I think. It's just so general, and everyone's different. Maybe I wouldn't say that dyslexia doesn't exist. I guess I shouldn't say that. That's not what I'm saying. It's that or ADHD doesn't exist. It's that there's this inference.
What you're saying is that naturally neurodiversity is a thing, and it's only considered a problem when it doesn't gel well with our neoliberal society and the demands of it.
Basically, pretty much. And it's not necessarily neoliberal. I'm not a big fan of neoliberal society, but it's just all the, essentially our society's changed much. Not just the cultural, but like physically, what we're doing is so different that it's really biologically. I just think that, for 100,000 years, however long humans have been around, and basically whatever we were before humans is just like living outside, catching food, like just surviving nature. And that's just basically, and being social. And that's what we're meant to do. And all this new shit has just been thrown at us. And I don't see it as a disability or a down or a disorder or a thing because you don't all of a sudden, because everyone doesn't fit into 21st century industrialism.
Yeah, it's considered, some people don't consider it a disability. They consider it a gift because it enables them to think of things that like maybe the majority of people wouldn't think of, or they like dyslexics can. That's why a lot of people in art and creative fields are dyslexic, because like they just have a different level of the way they're. It's not necessarily, like I said, a disability, but when you're living in a text-based world, especially the way schools, then it can be perceived as a disability because most teaching occurs through text-based or audio-based, and that can be difficult for some dyslexics.
I always think, like, man, if I could, for one day, if I could be like in someone else's brain, like that does not have dyslexia, I would be curious to see how things would be, like if it would be harder for me or not, if I had a brain like that, but I don't. There's been to be honest, a lot of famous people that actually had that, and you wouldn't even know it.
Tom Cruise and Keira Knightley were dyslexic.
Tom Cruise, yeah. And I think also the dude who played Orlando Bloom is as well. I thought I heard Jim Carrey is. It's very, very common. And
but even like historical people like George Washington was dyslexic, Thomas Jefferson,
wasn't Patton
General
dyslexic
Patton
as
was
well?
Dyslexic,
he couldn't write. Was it his wife that wrote his letters for him or wrote for him?
I don't know. I mean, I knew he wrote his letters to his wife. I thought it was
someone, maybe a president. I can't remember.
You would be surprised. Like you would think, man, I wonder how they went through like school back then. Because back then
it was probably pretty tough for them back then.
I wonder who coined the term dyslexia.
Say what?
What do you coin the term dyslexia? Because that's kind of cruel.
Right. Yeah, they have a real hard time reading and big words spelled funny.
You talking about just the word
big
itself,
mistake.
The word
dyslexia?
dyslexia, yeah.
It's a little difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could say
Yeah.
that.
Leave us
It's a bit
celiacs alone.
A little bit of a tongue
Yeah.
twister it can be.
It was
Okay,
mean.
I got like 5 minutes before my slippers are going to fall off, y'all. So,
Yep.
So two more recommendations.
my glass slippers. Okay.
Okay.
House of Flying Daggers.
Yeah.
That's a fun
Yeah.
number.
It is a gorgeous
I-
film.
Gorgeous.
I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah, it's based on Romeo and Juliet, and it has a very anime feel to it almost.
Based on Romeo and
Anime
Juliet. I
film?
hate that
Well, like
story.
it's a tragic love story.
Oh, I hate
So much is like based
Oh,
on Romeo and
no.
Juliet. But
Like
it's
the Terminator
kung fu.
tragic love
Have
story.
you
Okay,
ever
go
seen Hero?
ahead. No.
Or is the Red Lantern?
That's the one. I think that's the one
We
that
talked
Colin
about Hero.
recommended.
That was one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah, it was 2002.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah, House of Flying Daggers is a gorgeous film. Oh yes, I remember we were talking about that. That was the one I said that I let the owner of the local Chinese borrow it, and they were asking who was in it, and I said Ziyi Zhang, and one of the girls was like slut. She's slut.
Yeah. She slept. Yeah. She wasn't
That's
joking.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Another one is Shaun of the Dead. If you
Oh, I
haven't
love
seen
that
it,
movie.
Oh yeah,
Love
we've
that
seen
movie.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I
That
love that
was
movie.
fu- that
I
was
want to see
funny.
Hot Fuzz. I haven't seen that one yet. Of the three,
it's
that's the only one I
just as
haven't
good,
seen.
maybe better.
I wouldn't mind rewatching Shaun of the Dead. That was a fun.
There's a thing with him and fences.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yes,
Yes,
it has
it
been
was.
fun. Glad you could join us,
Mhm.
Glenn. And I hate to have to cut things off like this, but I have like
Kung
4
Fu
minutes
Hustle.
before I
Well,
have to do my
But it's also close to
My
4
clinic
hours.
stuff.
And
Yeah, and our
doesn't
4
it cut
hours.
off?
Some
Doesn't it
stuff.
cut off when
It
when
might
reaches-
cut us off. Yeah. So I'm going to.
But we
Oh,
all
I guess I think I always thought it was.
no.
No.
Tiger Dragon was Ang Lee. Hero
Yeah.
and Daggers was Zhang Yimou. Maybe some of the other behind the scene action choreography. I don't know. But well, I'll probably talk to you guys on Discord and
Yeah,
look forward to
we'll
the
keep
next
in
one.
touch. All right.
Kung
Thanks,
Fu Hustle.
everybody.
Look forward to the next one.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Bye,
Have a
y'all.
good one.
Talk soon.
You too.